Game night at Rogers Place. Your Edmonton Oilers take on the Islanders. Patrick Waugh coaching the New York squad. The Oilers expected to go with the same lineup that beat Vancouver 7-3 on Saturday. The Islanders are led by Bo Horvat. He has 12 points in 15 games, as does Kyle Palmieri, while Matthew Barzal on long-term injured reserve, so you will not see him for the Islanders tonight. Ilya Sorokin, the Islanders' expected starting goaltender. He's 4-3-2 this season with a .916 save percentage and a 2.52 goals against average. Stuart Skinner for the Oilers now 4-5-1 with an .883 and a .325. Of course, we're going to tee up that game and discuss the milestone that Oilers captain Connor McDavid is approaching. He has 995 points. Hey, you can't rule it out that he gets there tonight. Jay, I would love that. I would love the 5-point game. It's been kind of it hasn't been a great season. I was going to say it's been a lousy season for the Oilers. That would be inaccurate. That would be overly harsh.
It's been a lousy season for Connor.
It's been an underwhelming season for the Oilers. They have a 500 record. I was said to the guys on 2 guys and a goalie, they can match their longest winning streak of the season.
Yes.
Tonight. They have yet to win more than 2 games. They can match that tonight. I would love it if here's the thing. Well, we'll talk more about this later on too. I would love it if he did it today or Thursday. Got to 1,000. 5 points in 2 games for him.
That would be
impossible.
well above his season standard.
Get it done. Do it at home, and then onward and upward from there. So we got the Oilers playing the Islanders. Fun fact. Do you know who they played last November 13th? I know today's November 12th.
The Islanders?
The Islanders. Do you know what significance it was for Chris Knobloch?
First coach? First game?
First NHL game.
Wow.
For Chris Knobloch. They won the game 4-1. Speaking of Barzal, he scored 40 seconds into the game. And it's like, welcome to the NHL, buddy. That's the Oilers team you're coaching.
Didn't they lose 3-0?
The Oilers won 4-1.
3. Oh, so this was at home?
Yes.
Okay. I'm thinking of when they were on the island.
They
is that an island?
Yes, Long Island is an island.
It's a separate piece of. It's not attached.
It's not attached to Manhattan, which is also an island.
Manhattan
is an island.
It's a jut out. It's like a jut.
Well, Long Island juts out to the east.
Does it come from a land?
No,
a piece of land.
It's an island. That's why they call it Long Island.
I know that they've called it Long Island, but it looks to me like they're connected. But I could be totally out in left field.
There are bridges that connect them, but so Manhattan has a river on either side, right? The East River is on the east of Manhattan, and if you cross that, then you get into Long Island. Now, parts of New York City are on Long Island, those being Brooklyn and Queens. And then if you continue going out on Long Island, you get into whatever they're called. Nassau County, that's where the Islanders are from, right?
But Manhattan stems from a larger.
It's not attached because there's a river. Isn't the Harlem River at the north end? Manhattan is an island bound by, I believe, 3 rivers. The Cube has a map. You know how hard it is for me to see that figure, though. Yeah, see, Manhattan is an island.
You learn something every day, Reid.
So on that map, if you're on YouTube, this is what the Cube has brought up. So New York City is the gray area, and then you see Long Island extends well east of Queens and Brooklyn. But yes, you can see the rivers in between, and you can see how Manhattan is an island, just barely to the north with the Bronx there. But Manhattan is an island.
I'm thinking like Australia is an island,
very large one.
It's massive.
Yes.
I just wouldn't, a river breaking you up makes you an island, I guess.
Yeah, why not? Don't you remember the old Spider-Man cartoon series where there was some villain and he levitated all of Manhattan up out of the water?
That's how you know it. See,
what was the name of the villain in that? That was an old one. That old Spider-Man animated series. It was probably made in the 70s, maybe even the 60s. I used to watch it late 70s, early 80s. And there was a scene, there was some villain, and he levitated the entire island of Manhattan, threatened the citizens that way. Anyway, they are called the New York Islanders. Like, they're not called the Peninsulans. They're not called the Coasters.
I'm learning something new today.
Patrick was their coach. He was a goalie. You may remember that.
Come again? What's the name?
Patrick. Well, it's spelled like Roy.
Oh, that's why. Yeah, I remember Patty Roy.
The Islanders are 6-6-3. The Oilers are 7-7-1. So they're both 500. The Oilers' home record stinks, quite frankly, 2-5-1. The Islanders on the road are 4-3-1. So we'll set that game up with more chitter chatter throughout the afternoon. I can tell you this: besides getting through more Oilers stuff and more talk about McDavid and some other storylines, we do have Jed Roberts, our regular weekly guest, set to join us in the studio at 5:00 this afternoon. And at about 20 after 4, we're going to pander to the Winnipeg audience. But in all seriousness, why wouldn't we? Does the whole country now not revolve around the city of Winnipeg? I mean, there's always the old joke about Canada revolving around Toronto, right? How do you change a light bulb in Toronto? You just hold it in place and let the rest of Canada revolve around it. When it comes to sports, is it not the alpha city, city number one, city prime, the big dogs, Winnidog prime? That's what they should be called.
Right now, yeah, they are the center of the sporting landscape in Canada.
14-1 are the Winnipeg Jets. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers have advanced to the Grey Cup for the 5th consecutive season. They are, I didn't even look at the line. I assume they're heavy favorites because Toronto's without their star quarterback.
10.5 points.
They're 10.5 points favorite. That is a large margin.
Big.
So Hustler's going to come on from Winnipeg Sports Talk because I think on Saturday, did he not go to the Jets game against Dallas and then go to the West Final? And is this not the Jets game? They changed the start time of it to accommodate the West Final?
Well, he was on earlier. Yeah, he said that they might have to do that because the West Final would be at the same time.
Right, yeah. So they moved the Jets game to the afternoon. It is pretty incredible. And the Bombers, they started 0-4. So did the Elks, but the Elks kept losing a few more, and Winnipeg got it going a lot quicker. So pretty incredible.
Excuse me, sorry, I must. I like Rip City Step.
Yes,
he says PEI stands for Prince Edward Island. I understand what an island is. For God's sake,
are people trying to tell you what an island is?
I just don't know that necessarily Manhattan would be considered. You wouldn't, I certainly not me. I don't know. Prove me wrong, but I would not think of Manhattan as an island because a river divides it. Prince Edward Island is a standalone island.
Okay,
and it is referred to as an island.
But you can be
Manhattan referred to as Manhattan Island?
Yes, sometimes.
Not often.
You can be an island in a stream, so why can't you be Manhattan Island?
Islands in a stream. That is
what we are. Making love to each other. Matt Hyman says, Reid, are Brooklyn and Queens part of Long Island then? Yes, they are. So 2 of the boroughs of New York City are on Long Island. Staten Island then is to the south. Then there's Manhattan, and then there's the Bronx. Those are the 5 boroughs of New York City. I ran through all of them when I did the New York Marathon in 2013. I never told you that, did I? I just passed the anniversary of that.
Okay. Even Long Island. I mean, sure, it's an island. But
yes, it is.
It is. I get it, technically an island. But, yeah, I mean, what river is that flows through it?
The river that is between Manhattan
River.
and Long Island is the East River because it's on the east side of Manhattan. They use very obvious names there. Hey, we got this park that's in the center of the city. What should we call it? Central Park. Hey, here's a river to the east of our island. What should we call it? The East River? Hey, look at this island that's quite long. Long Island? Yeah, it's pretty self-explanatory. All right, 780-218-9999.
I feel like I should just leave. It's not a good start for me today.
Well, it's okay. You've learned something about geography.
Have I?
Think of everything you've taught me over the weeks.
Carry on.
780-218-9999 is how you text the EST inbox. We are going to have a couple of contests going on in the inbox today, which will be fun. You can also jump into the nasty chat on YouTube and participate, not just with us, but with each other, which is already off and running. If you are on YouTube, I implore you, by all that is special in your life, give us a thumbs up on YouTube as we try to get to 100 each and every program. All right, I got to do the word, the first clue. We'll do that first.
Give me a thumbs up for so I can afford research geographical.
Geology would be you want to study
I don't
rocks.
want to look at dirt. No. Geographical, what would it be called? Geographical what
Lessons.
studies? Wow, let's make it more. Geographical relations studies.
You want to learn geographical relations.
There you go. Yeah. Please, 100 likes up. We'll start a Kickstarter of $1 towards my geographical studies.
All right. Here we go. It's a game day. It's an Oilers game day. So we have the mystery athlete of the game presented by Hudson's, Canada's Pub. You can always go down to Hudson's, Canada's Pub for an Oilers game. On Wednesdays, 49-cent wings, $6 house draft for their new Blueberry Blonde Ale. Book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com. All right, this is very fun. You are allowed 3 guesses maximum. You must text to 780-218-9999. I'm going to give clues throughout the show, and if we need it, we have an audio clue today. Well, we're going to play it. We're going to play it no matter what. It may or may not be needed as a clue. So if you're new to this, I give a 1 or 2 word clue, and then you try to guess the mystery athlete. I do not give any other parameters. There was a time last week, like the first 3 or 4 were tied into that Oilers game that night somehow, and some of them haven't been tied into anything, or they're tied into some other sporting event, or they're just somebody I randomly pick. Okay, so you got to pay attention. So the first clue is Lakers. And I'll give these out throughout the course of the show. And 780-218-9999 to take a guess. I can tell you that Tube Socks is wrong on his traditional first guess, but we'll just leave it at that. Sound fair? All right. So, kind of fun day today. McDavid approaching 1,000 points. You were saying earlier, Brett Kulak is up to 4 goals, scored more goals than he did all the last season, right? And what's the quarterback's name? Arbuckle? He's going to play?
Arbuckle.
He's going to play for the Argos in the Grey Cup.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Chad
I watched the game. Yeah.
You know, that sucks. That sucks for that organization. It's in the such late stages of that game, and on really something that didn't look all that.
Yeah,
bad.
he runs like that all the time. Matt Hyman says, wasn't Manhattan created from digging tunnels on the subway? No, I think that was an island off Montreal that they might have created by digging. Wow, I didn't think we'd be talking so much about islands and things that we do or don't know about them.
Well, speaking of islands, that Owen guy says, if you build a full moat around your property, is it now an island?
Yes.
That's not true.
Well, because it's not large enough.
But these are joined by bodies of land.
They're joined by bodies of land.
Yes.
With water in between them.
Yes.
So
it's the same. You understand. I don't mean to go off the rails.
Manhattan Island does not touch any other.
Don't say Manhattan Island. You cannot call it Manhattan Island.
Manhattan
now.
does not touch any other landmass, hence making it an island. You can't ignore rivers.
You can sometimes, apparently.
So Edmonton does not have a river.
I'm just saying in this instance, I don't think a river should...
Tell the people of the city of Strathcona that. Till we annex them. All right.
Mike, outside of Edmonton, Montreal is an island, isn't it?
I think it might be.
I think so. Something to it.
All right. So, we got Brett Kulak doing well. We got a backup quarterback in for the Argos. So our off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading graphics with design, print, and install, all in-house for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff Advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout at 780-454-4536. Sorry, I'm having such a good time. I'm laughing. Who is your favorite backup/journeyman athlete of all time? So we know a lot of you love McDavid or Draisaitl. Give us a backup or a journeyman player that maybe played for your favorite team, or maybe just someone who you followed that you like. Maybe if it's someone that you would even admit, you know what, he or she actually wasn't that good. I just loved them. Or I saw them score this goal once or score this touchdown, and I thought, I'm going to follow that person. So who's your favorite backup/journeyman player of all time? I think this is going to be fun.
Yeah, just keep sending them in. I'll keep track of them. A couple names come to the top of my island-bearing head. But an Andrew Cogliano, right?
Yeah. Well, the tests do for me.
Yeah. Sure, why not? Maybe a Jesse Pugliarvi.
Well, that's a totally different category, I think.
He's trying to become a journeyman.
That's true.
He's trying.
That's true.
He's trying to become a journeyman.
So who's your favorite backup/journeyman player of all time? Rip City, step in there quickly. Oh, Rem the Gem Murray. Yeah, for sure. Matt at the Garrison. I thought for sure the off-topic topic was going to be islands. I almost changed it on the fly, but I thought Jay and I really liked this one when we came up with it earlier, so we're going to stick with this because, and give us, as always, tell us why. Okay, I like this player because, again, maybe you saw him score a big goal. Maybe you liked his haircut. Maybe you saw an interview that he did, something like that. Your favorite back, or maybe you just always wanted them to play. Maybe it's Trey Ford. An island is a piece of land distinct from a continent completely surrounded by water.
Hey, boys, this comes in from Nature Boy. I can confirm. He says I can't, but I think he meant to say can. I can confirm Manhattan is most definitely an island. They have a tour called the Circle Tour, and you climb on a boat and you travel around the entire island. Okay.
Well, thank goodness one of our nasties confirmed it. Because the all the map makers who invested...
Well, who was it? Dazzler says, if only we had a map we could pull down.
Where's our pull-down map? If only Dustin were around to meet all of our demands. We still need a TV. We still need a pull-down map of Alberta and now apparently of Manhattan as well. All right.
Okay, Zach, I know what an island is, okay?
Oh, Zach put up on YouTube the definition of an island. That's great word. All right. Speaking of the Coupe, he's got a sports update.
Former Oilers GM Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant. Holland won 4 Stanley Cups as an executive of the Red Wings before serving as the Oilers GM for 5 years. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. There's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets. Elsewhere, the Senators play the Maple Leafs, and the Flames face the Canucks with Vancouver's 2022 first-rounder Jonathan Lekkerimäki making his NHL debut. And Dak Prescott undergoes surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring and will be out at least 3 months for the Cowboys. Prescott injured his hamstring in Dallas's game against the Falcons. And staying in football, the Miami Dolphins have claimed ex-Seahawk Tyrell Dodson. In the NBA, the Raptors tip off with the Bucks having 8 games in the association, which sees Joel Embiid returning for the 76ers. This sports update has been brought to you by Paramount Flooring. Proudly family owned and operated for 33 years, Paramount Flooring is your full-service flooring and tile supplier. Whether you're a homeowner, renovator, or builder, Paramount Flooring provides the flooring to fit your lifestyle and budget. Visit their showroom that's open 7 days a week at 10707 184th Street. Paramount Flooring. Flooring for the life that you live. We're back after a quick timeout here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Fly Away to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for two, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Don't feel like working? Join the Hangout. You never know what you might hear. Weekday mornings 9 to 11 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
All right, Oilers Islanders at 7 o'clock. We'll have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom and Hernan at 6, and they'll be on again after the game as the Oilers try to win their second in a row. Again, McDavid coming in with 995 points, approaching 1,000. Maybe he gets it tonight. I would love it if he got it tonight. I hope he gets it in one of these two home games, but we'll talk about that here as we move along. All right, so our off-topic topic for William Huff, your favorite backup/journeyman of all time. You know, so a backup player you always wanted to get a bigger shot, or you just liked, or a journeyman, so someone who wasn't a star, played for maybe a few teams, was a good pro, but was never a star, but you always liked. Rip City Step, I remember liking Michel Petit because he got traded almost every year, it seemed like. He did get traded a lot. This is a good one here from Rusty Shackelford, and I looked up this player. We might try to, I wonder if this guy's around. We could try to get him on the show. He'd probably be a good storyteller. Frank Banham. And, where did I lose the nasty chat? There it is. Frank Banham, local Callahoo hockey player who had a very successful hockey career in and out of the NHL, was an amazing WHL player. Yeah, there's kind of a journeyman to cheer for. That's pretty good.
I got quite a few here, Reid. My favorite journeyman is Chris, the Canuck truck Zarka.
Oh, wow.
I bartended with him at Earl's in Regina, and he was one of the funniest guys I've ever met. That was from Dash.
I remember him.
Dash is from the Hello Hockey pod. No, what is it? Yeah, Heavy Hockey.
Heavy Hockey.
I always get those two mixed up. My apologies, Dash. Adam in Quebec City said, Montreal is most definitely an island. There are suburbs that are on both shores, Laval and Long, but Montreal in itself is most definitely an island. This is not going to leave us today, Reid. Mr. Bleach says, journeyman player Doug Flutie after he left the CFL. I always was
that's
jealous
a good point, yeah.
that Calgary had him, and once he left the CFL and became a journeyman QB, I cheered like hell for him.
Yeah, I guess in the NFL he would have been a journeyman, not a star, for sure.
How about this one? Safety Bob says, Dave Babbage, steady, stay-at-home D-man. You always knew what you were getting from him, and one good-looking mustache.
That's true. Dave Babbage is a good one.
That Owen guy says, Jameis Winston. He says, Jameis is a roller coaster of a QB on the field, but is legendary in the locker room. I think he's the perfect backup, doesn't complain, puts in the work, and gets the guys going. And the Combe Drew, Marty Reasoner. Still remember a sound clip somewhere that said, you know who wondered why the hell Marty Reasoner was selected for the shootout? Marty Reasoner. Marty Reasoner. Haven't heard that name in a while.
What was the guy? Oh, I can't remember. Forgot his name. Who was the guy that was controversially Rob Zamner that was on the '98 Olympic team? Yeah, I don't think he was in the shootout, but it made me think of that.
We got an early limerick coming in here, Zach.
We already have a limerick.
Oh
my goodness, who's it from?
From William Mikespear. Hi guys, a limerick for tonight. The Isles are the opponent today, a franchise that been in decay. They had a fisherman logo, but to fans it was a no-go. And are they still paying DiPietro not to play? Cheers, that comes in from William Mikespear.
Were they paying Yashin, or was that Ottawa that was paying Yashin not to play?
Oh, they still are playing DiPietro, but yeah, I think Yashin was Ottawa.
Okay, right. And Bobby Bonilla is getting paid, isn't it, until 2035?
2035
in baseball.
Happy Bobby.
Is it $1 million every July 1st or something like that?
It's over $1 million. It's like 1.03 or something.
Oh wow,
he's doing good.
Yeah, he's doing all right for not playing baseball. Keep those coming. The off-topic topic: your favorite backup or / journeyman of all time, and why? Yeah, somebody mentioned Rem Murray's got a couple here in the nasty chat. Sam Gagner, I guess. Yeah, you could consider that. Brant Myers, yeah. All right. 780-218-9999. It is time to thank Damon Bunting for presenting Buying or Selling. Damon is a top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among Western Canadian RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out at DamonBunting.com or look for him on Instagram with the handle of Damon Bunting Real Estate. Buying or selling. All right, so I'll throw this one at you first. Buying or selling, you want McDavid to get 1,000 points at home. I would think this would be a no-brainer, except Saturday's game is in Toronto. Because Gager and Cass, when I did Two Guys and a Goalie at noon, they seem to be leaning a little bit to, wouldn't it be cool if he did it in Toronto on a Saturday night?
See, I don't understand that thought process. Who is it cool for? His parents?
I guess.
Like, sorry, but who cares? I think there's, roughly 16,000 people here that would prefer him to get it this week,
right,
on Thursday. Now, I will say this. I mean, right now he's averaging just over 1 point per game. That's in the 12 games he's played this season. I know it's not a large sample size, and I know he's underperforming, but that's what he's at right now.
Yes.
So this may not happen this week at home. Now, I mean, I will also say that I think this Islanders team is a little bit clipped on the defensive side. So you could see, well, I don't think, I know, they're dressing some fairly young defensive
prospects.
I
think it's a roster they can get after a bit. Yeah.
So that very well, I mean, if he goes out and gets 3 points tonight or more, I mean, yeah, then maybe that's a shoo-in. But I would say most Oilers fans would obviously like to see that at home. And I don't know, like, is that like a conspiracy, a league thing where they think it's going to happen in Toronto? Like,
no, I don't think so.
No, that's not in anybody's control.
Because if he was at more of a normal pace, he'd have done it, or he'd be at 999.
Well, you said he was going to do it against Pittsburgh.
I wondered if he could do it by the end of October. I just thought that would have been romantic if he did it against Crosby. I'm buying that I would sooner he did it at home.
Yeah.
Because if he gets 5 points in the next 2 games, the Oilers probably win both, and that's the most thing right now is that they need to start banking points and pull away from 500 and then maybe start catching some teams above them in the standings. And I think Oilers fans deserve, quite frankly, to see him do it at home. And I know not everybody would be at the game. It's 18,300 or whatever it is. But I remember when he got to 500 during the pandemic season and there was nobody in the stands, but they still put something on the scoreboard, and I tweeted a picture of it, and people were like, "Oh, thanks, Reid, and I wish we could be in the building." I just think, not that there wouldn't be Oilers fans in Toronto, and okay, here I just thought of a buying or selling right now.
Give it.
Buying or selling. If McDavid got point number 1,000 in Toronto, would Leafs fans give him an ovation?
Yes. I'm buying.
You think they would?
Yes.
I think it would depend on the circumstances of the goal.
Honestly, it would depend on the time of the goal. Because if it's in the first 5 minutes of any period, half the seats are empty anyhow. Seriously.
Just slamming the late arriving Toronto fans.
Well, or waiting for beer. Or...
Jay Milne is sick of all you corporate melons.
I'm not. I mean, Oilers games are the same thing. People are still getting their beverages, returning to their seats, right? So if it happened at the right time, I think some things are bigger than the game that you're currently watching.
So you're saying he goes into Toronto with $9.99. He scores halfway through the first period. You think Leafs fans give him an ovation?
Yes. Maybe not a standing ovation, but they would cheer for it.
They would recognize that it's point number 1,000.
You'd have to. The league would mandate that be recognized.
Well,
no?
the league's not going to mandate that they.
Well,
fans
any team
cheer.
would do that if it was in your house. That's a major milestone. I don't know how you could not.
I don't know if they would announce point number 1,000.
Well, okay, maybe I'm giving the Leafs
but they
too much
would.
credit.
They would know. The fans would know that it was though.
You don't think they'd announce that?
No. I don't know if I've ever heard that. I'm trying to think of a visiting player reaching a milestone in Edmonton. I'm sure it's happened. I know that visiting players have been acknowledged during commercial breaks for milestones they achieved in the previous game. You know, like, hey, everybody, please join Oil Country in congratulating Jay Milne. Monday in Calgary, he played career game number 800. You know, if it's a higher number, or career game number 1,000, and the fans chap and the players tap, the fans chap. The fans clap and the players tap their sticks. But I can't remember if anything like goal scored by Alexander Ovechkin, his 50th of the season in Edmonton. I don't think they do that for visiting players. Somebody will know if I'm missing something, but I think it's usually after the fact.
I don't know. I maybe I'm giving that organization too much credit, but I think for a milestone like that, it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility.
Here's what I think would happen. He scores the goal in Toronto. This is what's going to happen, everybody. He gets 2 points tonight, and he gets 2 points on Thursday. The Oilers win both games. Write this down.
Oh, Zoltar.
They go into Toronto. It's scoreless. He scores at exactly the halfway point of the first minute.
Of the first period?
Of the first period. Sorry, not the first minute. That'd be
30 seconds?
30 seconds, as some would call it. He scores 10 minutes into the first period, and the announcement is read out, and the fans sort of applaud, and then during the commercial timeout, they put McDavid on the scoreboard, and there's no announcement, but everybody recognizes and gets up and stands.
Well, then that's recognition.
Well, yeah, but I'm talking about, easy, fourth fastest to 1,000. How could you not announce that? They're easy. They are. I'm telling you, they are not going to announce something like that. The announcement of the goal is not going to be either in Edmonton or in Toronto. Goal scored by Connor McDavid, his 1,000th point. He is now the fourth. That's for reporters like me to do. But the fans know, right? And so what they would, if he does it in Edmonton, they would say goal scored by Connor McDavid, his 1,000th career point, Al Stafford. And they'd put it up on the scoreboard and everybody would go nuts. In Toronto or on the road, I don't know if they would announce his 1,000th career point. I think fans would be smart enough to know that it was. I don't know if it would specifically be announced by the PA person.
Big Slam Nasty says they did it for Brett Hull back in the day in Edmonton. I think he scored his 50th or 60th, and the announcer got booed for it.
Okay, fair enough.
Matt Hyman says, I remember clapping for Gretzky when he got his 2,000th point in Winnipeg.
Oh, that's where he got his 2,000th point? I didn't know that.
Interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. So anyway, it's fun to talk about. He should get there in the next, well, I don't know, I guess his pace, I think he'll get there by Toronto at the latest.
Yeah, I would say that's safe to say. Reid, buying or selling? Stu Skinner.
Yes.
Stu Skinner, the goalie.
Okay, not Jeff.
Skinner, the goalie. Okay. Stu Skinner. Had a little bit of an outburst at the end of the game Saturday.
Yes.
Against the Canucks. Are you buying or selling that he's focusing on personal stats other than team wins?
I'm selling that he's focusing on personal stats above team wins, but I'm buying that maybe it was time for him to say enough is enough when it comes to the crappy penalty killing. I don't think he thought, oh, it should have been 7-2 and now it's 7-3, or maybe his save percentage is in the back of his mind. I don't know. I think he's saying we are on the verge of a damn near perfect night. Division rival win, who, despite the playoffs last year, beat us fairly soundly in the regular season, especially a couple of games last October, right? Beat us pretty badly. We could have got out of here with a 7-2 win, put it to bed quietly, and then instead Kubusch takes an unnecessary penalty, and then we have lackadaisical penalty killing, and we give up a goal. I think I'm buying that's what he was saying. I don't think he necessarily thought, oh, now my save percentage is this or whatever. They still won the game. I think he was saying, we got to play in a complete game here. And I think he's saying 50% on the penalty kill in the game yet again. We won the game, but somehow our penalty killing is still going to get worse. I think that's what he's saying. I was a little surprised at the reaction after the game when he slammed the goalpost. I would almost say that was unnecessary, borderline excessive. But when the goal went in, looking at his teammates and being like, "What are you guys doing?
Yeah,
like do you want to take some pride in penalty killing or not?" I don't mind, and I know we have plenty of Skinner haters out there. Whatever, you're entitled to your opinion, but I don't have a problem with him doing that even in a win, kind of like, hey guys, you know this is a problem, right? You know we can't kill a penalty, but maybe we could kill this one off. Maybe we could have a 2-for-2 game. But no, you're going to leave a guy wide open, eh? Right on my back door to score on me with whatever time was left. I'm curious what you think, because you've been out there in the heat of battle with guys who probably got mad, or you got mad.
Yeah, it was a little bit of a leading question, I must admit. I don't think that he's pissed off at his stats or numbers. He's just upset with the letdown at the end of what you said was a pretty dang good night, right? And if this was a closer game, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
it's probably just frustration, like just genuine, in the most literal meaning of the word, frustration that came out because that game had no business being anywhere near 3 goals for the Canucks.
No,
but they were,
yeah.
Right. So I don't even know if it's associated with the power, like the penalty kill, as much as just that. It was almost like, okay, you could say this maybe. Okay, here's how I'd say it. You're up. The game's out of hand.
Yeah.
But you let down. You don't keep pushing in, and you don't keep trying to put the foot down on the gas pedal. You let up. That's frustrating to see as a goaltender, and his team in front of him, his defenseman in front of him doing.
Yeah.
So that could be part of it.
Yeah, just finish the darn game. Just play it out, play strong to the end. And even Bouchard taking a penalty, I'm not saying he went out there looking to take a penalty, but why? Just finish it. Play hard. Keep it quiet. Don't give Vancouver anything and get out of there with a 7-2 win. And I know the goal didn't matter, but I think Skinner's also saying, okay, what if we're up 3 goals and there's 4 minutes left?
Exactly.
Are you going to be lazy on the penalty kill then and let a team get within 2 when they can still pull their goalie and tie it? I think he's just trying to say the standard has to change. Like, we can talk penalty kill this, penalty kill this. You just need to play hard. And I know Tom was talking after the game, even Nurse, slapping at the puck like that. And I know he probably thinks he can make the play and slap it out of the zone. But be sure, make a harder play on it. So I'm generally okay with it. I do think probably the stuff after the game maybe didn't need to happen because I thought it detracted from the celebration a little bit. But the frustration when the goal went in, I have no problem with that. Looking around and saying, who's helping me here, guys? Do you want to kill a penalty off or not, or do you want to have a 40% penalty kill in the season? It's almost like when the kid gets a bad mark on an exam and he or she didn't study. It's like, well, okay, if that's the mark you want. If you're fine with 35%, okay. I'm not going to tell you to study then if you're happy with it. I don't know if you treat your kids like that or not, but
well,
your kids would never get 35%.
I don't want to boast, but they're doing pretty good.
They're doing
in school.
extremely well.
Big Uke, I just want to get to this before we go to break. I know we got to hit it. Big Uke says they usually say the player's goal total during the announcement. This is now a very big accomplishment. Toronto would gain a lot of respect from people if he does it there and they acknowledge it. I'm
going to have to listen tonight. I thought when the visiting team scored in Edmonton, they don't even say how many goals on the season that player has. I'll have to listen close tonight if the Islanders score. All right, 780-218-9999. Jump into the nasty chat on YouTube. Please give us a thumbs up. We're on a pretty good pace to get to our daily goal of 100. You're going to hear from Chris Knobloch and Leon Draisaitl in the next segment. The Oil Understood for GCL Diesel. Here comes Zach Kubusch.
The NHL has hired former Oilers general manager Ken Holland as a hockey operations consultant, with the Oilers back in action tonight as they host the New York Islanders. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop. Here and only here on Edmonton Sports Talk. 6 other games are on tap, with the Devils battling the Panthers, the Bruins facing the Blues, and the Blue Jackets having puck drop against the Kraken. And the Cowboys will be without Dak Prescott for the remainder of the season, as he will undergo surgery tomorrow to repair his torn hamstring. Basketball sees the Raptors going toe-to-toe with the Bucks, with Toronto's Emmanuel Quickley enduring a partial tear to his UCL in his left elbow and will be reevaluated next week. This sports update has been brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy uses the same locker room approach, trusted by the best in the game. Find them online at advantagesportmed.ca. We're back just after a quick break here on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
The grand opening sale at Sit and Sleep is almost over. This is your last chance to take advantage of the special introductory sale prices on all mattresses. Stop in today for a free pressure point scan using cutting-edge technology so sleepologists can identify the perfect mattress for you. Right now, get free local delivery on any mattress over $7.99 and receive a free bamboo cooling mattress protector. Enjoy grand opening savings with every mattress on sale. Join us on location today for the final celebrations at Sit and Sleep in South Common next to Planet Fitness. Don't miss out. The grand opening sale ends soon.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website, edmontonsportstalk.com.
I've got confirmation that the Birds of Summer will not be going to the game tonight. I thought maybe we'd get some penalty box birds.
Flippage?
But no, Looney Len says he hopes that Connor gets all 5 points tonight because he will be there. But alas, the Birds of Summer will not.
Who would the Birds of Summer flip off in the penalty box for the Islanders? Who would be the villain on the Islanders?
Horvat.
Yeah,
Brock Nelson?
Yeah, maybe.
Says he
I guess anybody that you're mad at. We'll dive deeper into the Islanders lineup as we move along throughout the show. Same lineup expected for the Oilers that beat Vancouver on Saturday. As we bring you the Oil Understood, presented by GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years, and now a proud partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Understood. Okay. So here's the thing. The PK is terrible. It's at 59%. That's not very good. Chris Knobloch today was just asked about the poor penalty kill percentage and how even if they had a good run, it probably still would look pretty bad.
We're not going to be able to erase, obviously a slow start, and we're just trying to, and it's a cliche, one game at a time, and your special teams are really important, and if they're not good, then you often lose games. So it's just, I think, Stewie's done a great job keeping the guys focused and paying attention to the details and believing in the system, because it was really good for us last year, and things just haven't gone our way right now. And a little bit of self-induced, but a lot of it's just unfortunate breaks. And I think there's a lot of belief that they can turn this around.
You know, I'm going to guess here, Jay, and we were talking about Skinner being upset about the goal going in on the penalty kill. Now, nobody has said this, but would you not think, logically, some Oiler has said to another Oiler, whether it's coach to player or player to player, let's get one perfect game on the penalty kill under our belts and go from there. Even if it's 1 for 1 or 2 for 2 like it would have been Saturday. Let's have a game where we don't give up a power play goal against. Because you know how many times the Oilers have done that this season?
Once.
Three.
Out
of, which is still pretty bad. So they killed off 3 out of 3 against the Flames back in the third game of the season. They killed off 1 out of 1 against Detroit. The previous game against Pittsburgh, they killed off 2 out of 2. Obviously, they got a shutout of that one. So in the last, and here's the thing, in the last 4 games, the Oilers have been shorthanded only 7 times. And they've given up 4 power play goals. So even in a stretch of games in which they've only been shorthanded once or twice in each game, they've still given up a power play goal against. So even though I was saying the best way not to give up power play goals against is not to take penalties, and I wish Bouchard would have stayed out of the box, I think you can look at that and say, at least in the last 4 games, taking penalties is not a problem. And they still can't get through a perfect game. So if I were a player, I'd be sitting there saying, okay, guys, good job staying out of the box. Let's kill off the 1 or 2 we take for once and not give the other team something. I mean, against Vegas, we talked about it last week. Nuge takes a penalty. They can't kill it off. Again, it wasn't a great penalty. Wish he wouldn't have taken it. Kill it off. They can't do it. So this is still a problem. And I like how Knobloch kind of admitted, yeah, even if we have a good run, we're still going to have a lousy percentage. That's how much of a hole they put themselves in.
Yeah, but I agree with you. Start somewhere. Start with a positive and try build off of it, right? You got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
And yes, the easiest way to improve your penalty kill is to get your ass out of the box, right? It's just, and we were talking in the break. I mean, a lot of this is effort related, whether it's giving up on the play late in the game against Vancouver. Penalties are effort related for the most part.
Yeah, usually.
I mean, you're going to have the odd one where it's just a follow through and you hit a guy with a high stick. That's going to happen.
Sure.
But a lot of it is effort, tripping, holding. And it's just so it shouldn't surprise everybody that you know, the Oilers, where do the Oilers? They only rank 11 in penalty in minutes. The 119 total. I mean, the worst team in the league is LA with almost 200.
Right. And the Oilers have 5 or 6 fights already.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Does it have the time shorthanded per game? Or we can get it later when we do crunch the numbers. But, yeah, I don't think they wouldn't have been shorthanded a lot per game compared to other teams. So, anyway, ongoing storyline there. Kill off some penalties. McDavid, 995 points. His longtime teammate and a guy who's helped him get a lot of those points is Leon Draisaitl, commenting on McDavid just being such a unique player.
There's never been a player like him. You know, especially in the modern era, like no player has created chances the way he does, and at the speed and at the consistency that he has over 10 years now. So, yeah, very, very, very impressive.
Well, and I mean, I talk about this all the time. McDavid's ability to gain the zone, I don't think has ever been exceeded by a player. And then his ability to turn an innocent situation into an offensive chance, just with that speed and his ability to get the puck up the ice.
Yeah, I'm trying to find this Reid with the shorthanded penalty kill time on ice per game.
There should be a shorthanded time shorthanded
it says 3:53.
That's way too many.
3 minutes and 53 seconds. Time on ice. Shorthanded.
Oh, but there should be an actual time shorthanded per game. Here it is.
It's right here. Surprisingly.
Yeah,
low.
we're the 4th best. 5th best.
Yeah.
2.6 times shorthanded per game. So that's the thing. They've given up.
But then look at their goal differential, shorthanded goal differential.
Yeah, it's awful.
There's never been a player like him.
Minus 16. Like, it's just weird. We keep uncovering these stats that do not make any sense.
Right. So the Oilers have been shorthanded per game the 5th fewest times in the league, yet they've given up the 2nd most power play goals in the league. Hence it's you know, if they were giving up 16 power play goals against and were shorthanded 8 times per game, that wouldn't be good. But this is just more evidence of how bad the PK has been. So, yeah.
So this directly points the finger at the penalty kill unit.
Yes. Oh, big time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, more so than the discipline. Though there have been some undisciplined
more so
penalties.
than the goaltending.
But the undisciplined penalties seem worse when you can't even kill one off.
Jeez.
I mean, if they could have look, I didn't like Nugent's penalty against Vegas. They could have saved his butt, right? With a kill or a save. Finally, Draisaitl saying, yeah, McDavid's close to this record, but really he just wants to get it done and out of the way.
Because he's not a guy that likes the show about it all. He likes the end product of it, and he puts his work into it every single day. And, you know, I'd be lying if I said he doesn't want to achieve it as soon as possible. That's human nature, but he's not for the show, and he's never been for the show, and that's probably... you know, the thing that I respect about him the most. He goes about his things so quietly and in a way almost doesn't want the attention to all these things, even though he will get it and he should get it. But just the way he does things is very respectable, and just very fortunate to be around him.
Do you find that Leon's answers are the most sincere when he's talking about Connor
or teammates
or a teammate?
Yes, in general.
Right.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But I also, you know, what he's saying about Connor, and essentially he doesn't like to get too high about this stuff, or I wish he did a bit more sometimes. I wish Connor would show a little bit more emotion. Just maybe for the sake of his teammates.
Yeah. It'll be curious to see how he acts when he gets to number 1,000. I mean, and hockey players generally are very modest and respectful, and there's that whole thing, don't show up the opposition. It might depend how it happens. I mean, Cass was saying at noon he'd love it to be an overtime goal against Nashville on Thursday if it was going to happen in Edmonton. And even as the one thing about McDavid and Draisaitl too, they will react more maybe not when it's like a milestone goal or when they recognize, oh, that was pretty cool. Like we saw McDavid. The best one that comes to mind is when McDavid walked through the Rangers a few years ago. His reaction, like he knew, okay, that's
a big one.
I'll even watch that one again, It'll be curious to see how he reacts. I mean,
Sure.
I think if it was a big goal, overtime goal or something like that, maybe you'd see a little more emotion. But they're pretty modest. So I just hope the guys are mic'd up like they were for Hyman's 50th last year. Remember?
Yes.
that was pretty neat. That was pretty neat. Okay, 780-218-9999. I got a clue.
Ooh.
The second clue in the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. You have to text your guess to 780-218-9999. Maximum of 3 guesses. Jay is keeping track. You're trying to win a $25 GC to Hudson's. The second clue is cover boy. The first clue was Lakers. The second clue is cover boy. We got my top 3. We got Huss on why Winnipeg is the center of the Canadian sporting universe. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
Celebrating 70 years in the signage industry, William Huff Advertising is the most recognized name in the game. An in-house, one-stop shop for all of your design, print, and installation needs. William Huff provides quality graphic solutions for everyone. Here in our City of Champions and throughout the nation, they are the preferred signage partner entrusted by many of the biggest corporations, pro sports teams, and organizations to bring their identity to life. Recognize the name, get in the game. WilliamHuff.com.
The Canadian Ice House is taking your sports experience to a higher level. Trackman golf simulators are now open at the Ice House, an immersive and realistic golfing experience in the heart of downtown Edmonton. Visit in-store or at thecanadianicehouse.com for details.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Former Oilers GM Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant, with Holland winning 4 Stanley Cups as an executive of the Red Wings in his career before serving as the Oilers GM for 5 total years. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. There's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets. Elsewhere, the Senators play the Maple Leafs and the Flames face the Canucks, with Vancouver's 2022 first-rounder Jonathan Leckernacki making his NHL debut. And Dak Prescott, over in football, undergoes surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring and will be out for the remainder of the Cowboys season. Prescott injured his hamstring in Dallas's loss to the Falcons November 3rd. And in the NBA, the Raptors tip off with the Bucks having 8 games in the association, which sees Joel Embiid returning for the 76ers. And the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Oilers hosting the Islanders tonight, 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, the Oil Stream pregame show with Tim Gonzola and Hernan Salas. If people weren't watching Friday, that last joke didn't make any sense. With Tom Gonzola and Hernan Salas will be at 6. They'll be on after the game for the post-game show as well, breaking it down, getting your reaction. I'll probably hop on that show as well. Frank in the Nasty Chat predicting an Islanders victory. I guess we'll see. What else? Of course, Grey Cup is set. Argos will play the Bombers. Did you see who won the Canada West football?
Yeah. What a shocker. Regina upsets Saskatchewan Huskies
after upsetting
Manitoba.
Yeah. And Saskatchewan had upset UBC, which was not as big an upset as Regina beat. So 3-5 was Regina. And did the Golden Bears not crush them in one of their 2 meetings? Wasn't it 30-6 or something like that?
And they were crushing them in their second meeting, and then the wheels fell off.
And now I believe Regina's hosting Laval. So we'll see. Laval.
Good luck to you, Rams.
Laval tends to do well in U Sports football, but that was I was surprised to see that when I was looking at the scores on the weekend. So it was kind of an entertaining weekend. I know this was a couple of days ago now, but the Sunday nighter was phenomenal. The Lions. Now I do have. Well, my former colleague Brendan Escott is a huge Texans fan, and I texted him after the first half. I was like, "Hey, good half," and then he wrote me back the next morning. He goes, "Sure was the first one, second one not so good." But so, what did we pick? I picked Chiefs over Lions, and you picked Lions over Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And those are the top teams in each conference.
Yes.
If they played, that would be, I think, it'd be a pretty entertaining Super Bowl. The way they both play,
it would be. It would be a very good game. I still don't know how good the Chiefs actually are. I think their record.
But they win, Jay.
I know.
Figure it out, like I always say.
They win. You cannot dispute that. I'm just saying playoffs obviously is a different animal. If you bring that team that beat the Denver Broncos at home 16-14 on a last-second field goal, blocked kick.
Yeah.
If you bring that team into the playoffs, I'm not sure that gets the job done.
Fair enough. But for now, it is.
Playoffs are 10 weeks away, so.
And it is the Kansas City Chiefs that are the jumping-off point for my top 3, presented by Fuge Sausage, the best sausages you will ever eat, locally made and packed full of flavor. Order online or visit them in-store at 6736 99th Street and take advantage of their EST discount. 10% off your order by entering the online code EST or just mention EST in-store, such as if Sherlock Holmes went to buy sausages and said, "I deduce these are the sausages I can purchase."
You've deduced correctly.
And I would deduce I could pay a little less if I mentioned Edmonton Sports Talk.
How does a 10% deduction sound?
Elementary, my dear Watson. Free delivery in Edmonton on orders over $100. As Food Sauces says, you can't beat our meat. Come into a store and perform the skit of your own. All right. So I'm watching the Chiefs and the Broncos on Sunday. Okay?
Okay.
And I see the banners flying at the top of, I can't remember, what is it, do they still call it Arrowhead or whatever sponsor name the stadium is? Whatever, the Kansas City Stadium. Or it's Gayha Field at Arrowhead or something like that. Yeah. Whatever, the Chiefs Stadium. So they have the championship banners. And you know what those banners say on them? The year and world champions.
Yes.
So this is my top 3 weekend irritations. Okay, so here's my, and actually those aren't the ones I was referring to. They have kind of pennant-shaped ones at the top. No, but that's okay, Zach. You can leave that up. You did right idea, because those also irritate me. I'm just saying the ones I actually saw. So here's my problem with this. And I know some people are going to say, Reid, you are so easily irritated. Well, when it comes to points of accuracy, I am. The Kansas City Chiefs are not the world champions. They are the Super Bowl champions, okay? But usually with American sports, well, we won something, so we're just going to say we're the best in the world. Now, I would agree with you. The Kansas City Chiefs are the best football team in the world.
So they're world champions.
But I got a little news flash for you, NFL. The other countries in the world aren't even trying. Okay? They have won the Super Bowl. They have not won the World Championship. The team that wins the Stanley Cup is the best hockey club team in the world. You know what the banners say? Stanley Cup champions. Those banners should say Super Bowl champions, not world champions. Even in Major League Baseball, you're not the world champion, you're the World Series champion. Okay? I just think this is silly and exaggerated, and that's not how it should be posted. They are the Super Bowl. This actually bothers me, Jay. I'm sorry. I know I get bothered about this. Would be like if somebody was walking around the office saying "you're regardless" over and over again. They are not the world champion. So let me put it to you this way: whoever wins the Grey Cup this year should put up a banner that says 2024 World Champions. And then if somebody said, well, how can you be the world champions of football when the Chiefs are the world champions? And then the winning team could say, no. We're the world champions of Canadian football. The Chiefs are the world champions of American rules football. I mean, where do you draw the line?
I like that.
The Canadian team is going to be the Grey Cup champion. The Super Bowl team is going to be the Super Bowl champion. We know the NFL has better players, but that's not my point. I'm saying you could just find a way to call yourself a world champion. I think it's quite silly and unnecessary. You're not the world champion. The Stanley Cup doesn't do it. In the NBA, you're the NBA champion. What's their trophy called? The Larry O'Brien trophy or whatever.
Yeah, so I guess because the thought is that there's no other real, there are other football leagues in the world. The CFL obviously won, the XFL, but there's no major leagues that could even put up a fight. So it is a massive assumption. Now, at least they said world champions and not galactic champions, because we do not know that answer.
That's what somebody should put up. Universal champions.
Well, then I would have
the world is not big enough.
I'd have issue with that, Reid. If they went after the galaxy, I would say that is complete BS.
Too much.
We just don't know.
Yeah,
we simply do not know. Now we do know that there's no other team in the world of 11 players that could beat the Kansas City Chiefs.
Correct.
In a game of football.
Right, but they've won the Super Bowl. The league is not called the World Football League.
I'm going to have to sit on the fence on this one, okay? I'm not.
No, it's okay.
I'm like Wilson from Home Improvement. He's just on the fence.
Well, he was concealed by the fence too.
Maybe I want to be concealed by my fence too on this particular topic.
This has bugged me ever since I was a kid. Well, we're the world champs. We're the world. No, you're the Super Bowl champs. No, you're the World Series champ. No hockey, and this is the thing. Hockey is so modest. Can you imagine if a hockey player said we're the world champs? It'd be like, whoa, slow down there, big fella. So what if the champions of the Swedish Hockey League said, well, we're the world champs. We're going to put up a world championship banner.
Go ahead. It wouldn't bother me.
Okay. Well, it would bother me. A lot of things bother me. You know what else bothers me for my top 3 weekend irritations? By the way, if you're irritated about any of these or irritated with me being irritated or just watching on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. Les says, could we get an EST World Championship belt or trophy? That's a good idea. Okay, you know what I'm irritated by? These ads I'm seeing for this Jake Paul-Mike Tyson fight. So it's supposed to be on Friday now, the 15th? Is that the 15th? It was supposed to be in July, but Tyson had an ulcer or something like that. And what irritates me about this, and I know boxing has dropped off in a long time, this is not a real fight to me, but it's getting marketed as if it's an actual sporting event. This is a 58-year-old boxer, right?
What's not real about it?
Who has not... It's not a competitive fight. It's a show. And it's being marketed as if it's some important fight, as if it's some important sporting event.
Well, there's 2 boxers that are competing.
Okay, Jake Paul's not a boxer. He's not a professional boxer. Is his actual job not YouTuber? So he's a broadcaster, basically. So if I fought Mike Tyson, you would want it to be a big deal like this?
it wouldn't be a big deal.
There'd be some comedic value.
There would be.
Okay, but Paul has fought other people, right?
Yes.
But
Well,
this is not.
yeah,
This is not. This is not a thing.
I'll give you. It's a gimmick.
It's a gimmick.
I will say it's a gimmick, but who's not going to be watching that?
I will not watch it.
You will not watch it.
No.
Not 1 second.
Why would I watch this?
I just want to see. Just like give me the first round. I want to see exactly what
Tyson
happens.
will destroy him.
Are you sure about that?
That's what I think.
Okay.
Oh, by the way, if Jake Paul wins, he says he's going to call out Canelo Alvarez.
Who is that?
He is one of the greatest boxers right now.
Okay.
He's one of the best boxers out there.
But this is...
I think the excitement around it is the sense of unknown. Jake Paul has been coming up the ranks with these, I'll say, gimmicky fights where he's, he is beating lower class boxers or underweight boxers, I think, Zach. Like, I don't know if he's fighting his weight or something's like the real boxing community is pissed off about this, right?
Well, he's never fought a prolific boxer that actually stands out. He's fought a bunch of washed up UFC fighters who might be good at boxing in the MMA circuit, but he's fought like Nate Diaz. He won. He fought Mike Perry, who's a tough fighter, but he's not a great boxer. He fought a former UFC champ, Tyrone Woodley, twice, beat him twice. Ben Askren, he fought all UFC guys.
So he's fighting
and then a
UFC
former
guys.
NBA player.
He's not fighting boxers.
And now he's fighting a boxer
but here's
who's
the
30
thing.
years past his prime, if not 35.
I know, but do you, is there not a sense of attraction to this, given the fact that Mike Tyson is 30 years past his prime, but he still looks like he could fight?
I'm not attracted to this
fight. And he could go and wax this YouTuber's ass?
He will.
There's no attraction to you for
Then
that?
I'll watch the highlights.
Do you have a pulse?
Not for this.
Wow. I'm shocked.
There are things about which I care. This is not one of them.
So you think this is just too gimmicky?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, everybody's entitled to their opinion. Am I going to watch it? Like, am I going to make special nachos for the family and everybody gather around the TV?
Kids, you got to see this.
No, I'm not. But I will be watching. I want to see the first round. I want to see what happens.
Is it on Netflix? So
It's only on Netflix.
I don't have to pay additional for it?
I don't think so.
Oh, you probably do. It's another thing that irritates me. It's cost of streaming services. I sound so happy when I do these. I kind of like doing it. I like being crotchety old curmudgeonly Reid.
Well, and there's something interesting here. Coyote Steve says, which I fear might happen, is that this is just a glorified sparring session. Coyote Steve says, Tyson fight is WWE on steroids, all for show, unless he pisses Mike off. And there are several people thinking that Mike Tyson's going to clean this kid's clocks, a la Phyllis.
He will.
Don't underestimate old man strength. I don't know. I'm definitely interested in it. Gimmick
stuff
is
like this just
gimmicky as it is. Why does it bother you?
Because it's not a legitimate sporting event and should not be marketed as such. And maybe you could argue it's not being. It's being like marketed as if it's the final episode of MASH. I don't know. Well, Paul might get mashed.
I don't know. I'm not. I'm just there for the. I'm there for the entertainment.
All right. I've gone long on that. My last thing I'm irritated about, I still think there are too many touchbacks in the NFL despite the kickoff change. And you know what one of the most exciting plays in the NFL from the weekend was? I'll give you a hint. It was 50 yards short of being a touchdown. McCole Hardman's missed field goal return at the end of the first half against the Broncos. And he ran it out of the end zone. He was on the right sideline, went over back into the left, and he got tackled just short of his own 50. He really wasn't close to scoring. He had everybody in the stadium on their feet. That's what the return game can do. And the NFL still limits it with these stupid kickoffs that go for touchdowns. When there is a missed field goal that actually gets returned in the NFL, it's incredibly exciting, and they don't embrace that. Who posted on the EST account?
That was me.
I thought it was a Wannock. Wannock thinks that the fight won't even happen, that somebody will get a toothache and they'll cancel it again or postpone it again. Anyway, there still aren't enough returns of any variety in the National Football League, and there are too many touchbacks, which irritates me. And my father, who shakes his hand every single touchback, he goes, jeez.
Yeah.
Every single touchback.
I think they should take the kickoff back to the 20-yard line.
Move it back to the 15 so they can't reach the end zone.
Like,
Keep
what are
moving
we
it back
doing
till
here?
they can't reach the end zone. All right.
Hang on. We got to get into a couple, some questions coming in about your irritations from the weekend.
Sure.
Which I like this. I think every Monday your top 3 should be
I'd be fine with
irritations.
that. I'm often irritated.
Yes, clearly.
For food sausage, which is not an irritating product.
No, it's actually
an
quite
excellent
soothing.
product.
Goes down the gullet quite fine. Grumpy Cat says, serious question. Could an NFL team, say with a week's notice, come to Canada and play the Grey Cup champ with CFL rules and win the game?
They would, just because of this speed and size is superior.
They would. Can you imagine what's Trey Ford's brother's name? Tyrell Ford covering Tyreek Hill? Nope.
Be difficult, yeah.
It would be it wouldn't be fair. It's reality TV, and this person despises both Paul brothers. Waddy in Cloverdale says the Paul Tyson fight is a litmus test, and humanity is failing miserably.
Wow, that's even darker than I was going.
That is as dark as you can go. Dudley says this fight reminds me of those videos where the young man is mouthing off to the old man on a bus, and the old man has enough and just tunes the young man in.
Those are pretty good. Good stuff from the Nasties. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. We are doing well, but we don't celebrate until we actually get to 100 for every show. We got Hustler from Winnipeg Sports Talk. It's the center of the Canadian sports universe. But first, it is the Coob with a sports update.
The NHL has hired former Oilers general manager Ken Holland as a hockey operations consultant, with the Oilers back in action tonight as they host the New York Islanders. And you can tune in to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. 6 other games are on tap, with the Devils battling the Panthers, the Bruins facing the Blues, and the Blue Jackets having puck drop against the Kraken. And the Cowboys will be without Dak Prescott for the remainder of the season, as he will undergo surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring. Basketball sees the Raptors going toe-to-toe with the Bucks, with Toronto's Emmanuel quickly enduring a partial tear to his UCL in his left elbow, with him being reevaluated next week. This sports update has been brought to you by Sit and Sleep. Sit and Sleep is now open. Celebrate with 20,000 square feet of savings on the trendiest furniture, home decor, and mattresses. Apply for your Sit and Sleep card today to make no payments for 18 months interest-free. Sit and Sleep. Find them beside Planet Fitness in South Edmonton Common, or check them out online at sitandsleep.ca. Just after the break, Andrew Hustler Paterson from Winnipeg Sports Talk joins Reid and Jay on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for 2, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve, and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With a grand prize that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Lottery license number 698984.
If you've been injured in a car collision, let James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, protect your interests. They'll be there every step of the way to help answer your questions and help you get your life back on track. Trust Alberta's precedent-setting injury lawyers with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, call James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta Injury Lawyers, 780-428-0088, or go to jameshbrown.com.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit gallollp.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Oilers versus Islanders, 7 o'clock at Rogers Place. We got the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock. Skinner versus Sorokin is your expected goaltending matchup. McDavid, 995 career points coming in. He is going to become the fourth fastest player to get to 1,000 points, up there with Gretzky, Lemieux, and Bossy, and likely, unless he really goes on a slump, likely a little quicker than the great Peter Stastny. Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. The NHL lives at the Canadian Brewhouse. Every Oilers game day, get $1 off tankers of Molson Canadian and Coors Light. You can win game ticks and 2 tickets to a surf and turf dinner at the end of the season. Full details at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. Along with Jay Milne, I'm Reid Wilkins, and I'm pleased to be joined from Winnipeg Sports Talk. It's Hustler. Huss, how are you doing?
Fellas, what's going on?
Well, I want to ask you that.
I'm doing well. I'm doing quite well lately.
Can you just take us through your Saturday? I want to dive right in and hear your Saturday story.
Okay, well, listen, you know what? I will quickly say that the Saturday started actually with really, really terrible news and heavy hearts. I'm not sure if you knew Ted Wyman, who is the longtime sports editor of the Winnipeg Sun, great friend of ours on Winnipeg Sports Talk and a mainstay in the media for a long time. He lost his battle with cancer in the morning. So we kind of got that news, and there was so much hype and excitement about going into this doubleheader. But, you know, in some ways, Ted was such a great friend, life of the party, a guy that lived for days like that. Kind of thought that he maybe thought that it was time to check out so he could get his spot at the bar upstairs and make sure that he didn't miss both of those games. So he was certainly in on everyone's minds and thoughts, and both the Jets and the Bombers did really, really nice tributes for him during the game. But like as always, life moves on, and you know there was an incredible anticipation. First off, for the hockey game, so the Jets are 13-1. We've kind of been circling these games last week. Colorado coming in after the playoff loss last year, they got that one done 1-0. Hellebuck brilliant in a 1-0 shutout. And then really testing themselves against the best team in the Central, at least according to most going into the year, Dallas. And man, guys, they went out. The building was packed, absolutely rocking. They did a great 90s night theme for it. And the Jets absolutely steamrolled Dallas. I mean, Jake Ottinger got yanked after the fourth goal. And so Hellebuck is on one right now, of course. He's top goaltender in the league. Of course, they're two of the top American goaltenders. The fans in the 300s start chanting U.S. backup, which echoed throughout. That got a lot of run in other hockey markets as well. It was great to see. And the Jets shut the door. The only way that game could have been any better was if the shutout streak could have continued, and Dallas got a late one in the final minute of the game to make it 4-1. But finished up the game, and I guess at that point it was a 2:00 puck drop, so it was probably about 4:45 or so. Headed out from the arena right across the street to the Howard Chuck statue, jumped on the blue line, rapid transit. About 25 minutes later, walking into the stadium for kickoff. And guys, I mean, I know in some markets and some places the CFL has some work to do to get back to where it is. I don't think that the Bombers ever have been more of a big deal, more connected with the community, more in, and the fans have been more in on this football team. The stadium opened, I don't know, like 8 years ago or something like that. There's been a ton of sellouts. There's been a ton of playoff games. I mean, the team's been successful. That was freaking magical on Saturday afternoon. I mean, the place was absolutely packed. There was not a seat to be had. It was loud nonstop from the get-go right until the end. And the Bombers came in and laid one on their biggest rivals, the Saskatchewan Roughriders, which is a great kind of side story of its own. And it never stopped. Those games have turned into the biggest party around. I mean, whether the Bombers win or lose. And that's why in the regular season, you'll see a sold-out game and you look and go, oh, there's a whole bunch of empty seats. That's because 5,000 or 6,000 people are flooring it in that area around the north end and all the bars. But it really is sort of the place to be. It was very different, though, on Saturday. Everyone was in their seats. Everyone was glued to every single play. And, the Bombers, to their credit, really came out and played arguably their best game of the season against a really, really good opponent. And at the end of it all, it was a marathon. A lot of people retired to other watering holes to talk about the games and cheers each other. And then we slept it off going into a full NFL Sunday.
Well, I mean, you look at that Winnipeg team and what they've done, and I'm talking about the Blue Bombers here, but this is their 5th straight Grey Cup appearance. They've won 2, they've lost 2. I mean, I'd be a fool to say it doesn't look good heading into Sunday, and I'm glad I got them at plus 175 when I did, because the odds are totally different. And it's looking like, this is a real solid opportunity for them to get their 3rd Grey Cup in 5 years. Huss, is this not one of the greatest dynasties in CFL history?
Well, listen, if they win on Sunday, then I think we'll say yes. Listen, if they don't lose, if they lose, especially as a double-digit favorite now with Chad Kelly being out, I mean, I think we'll look back as certainly one of the most dominant runs. I mean, I believe only the Elks, the then Eskimos, in the 80s made it to 5 straight Grey Cups and won the West 5 times in a row. So listen, they have made history. They have won a couple championships. But the fact, I mean, like, guys, 2 years ago, they lose by 1 point to the Argos and preventing the three-peat. And last year, looking like they had it, Cody Fajardo goes down in the final minute and puts a stake through the heart of Winnipeg fans. I think they still need to win this game if we want to actually put the D word to it. But, I mean, semantics aside, you look at what this organization has done under Wade Miller, Mike O'Shea, Kyle Walters, the general manager, and they have not only put together a championship-level football team, but they have built an organization, a fan base, a vibe and an atmosphere around the stadium that is absolutely the standard right now in the Canadian Football League. So listen, if they get this win, I will absolutely say it is a dynasty with 3 years, 3 championships in 5 years and 5 straight West finals. But I think everyone, even in that locker room right now and in the organization, would say there's still work to do. And that kicks off at BC Place on Sunday.
Well, it would be interesting to put your mind in one of those players' helmets, because obviously they're missing a big piece in Chad Kelly. But I'm sure that'll become a huge story point as the week goes on. I want to talk about your beloved Jets here again, because 14-1-0 currently, but this is a pretty tough week ahead of them at Rangers, at Lightning, at Panthers. What do you see their record being at the end of Saturday night?
Well, I mean, listen, I have no reason to think that they can't win. I mean, listen, they're going to start losing some games at some point. And, it's funny, of the entire 82-game sched, tonight begins a 10-game segment where they play 9 of 10 on the road. They go to Rangers tonight, Tampa, Florida, and then a rematch against the Panthers in Winnipeg next Tuesday, and then right back on the road. And then playing some pretty good teams, although teams that maybe right now where they're at, like Pittsburgh and Nashville, not quite where we thought they'd be at the start of the year. I mean, listen, there's going to be erosion. They're not going to win and this is the best start in NHL history. No team has ever won 14 of their first 15 games. So the fact that they've done that, and every one of those points count when it comes to, earning your spot in the playoffs and trying to, win a division or get a 1 seed. I mean, all of that counts. I don't think anyone's going to be too concern when a loss comes on, even though it's been pretty damn fun talking about a win every time we fire up the mics on Winnipeg Sports Talk these days. But listen, I think they know as well that everyone's going to be coming for them. They hear what people are talking about. They see what the standings are. The Jets, I think, sort of kind of came in to a lot of markets just because of the way the media is, the national media, certainly south of the border. These people don't see Winnipeg very often. I mean, for crying out loud, we were talking earlier today, Henrik Lundqvist and Marty Brodeur both put out their top 5 goaltender list last year, and it didn't include Connor Hellebuck. Like, sometimes the Jets are just under the radar. They're not under the radar anymore. So, I mean, listen, it would be great if they could win 2 of these 3. The games against Florida are always special after Maurice dipped on us. But hey, Maurice is 0-4 against the Jets since he left. So we'll look forward to seeing if maybe they can make that 0-6. And but you know, I give Scott Arniel so much credit. They have put together an incredible culture in that team and a real business-like approach where they're happy and they're proud of what they've done, but there has been absolutely zero resting on their laurels. The minute that game is done, high fives in the room, give the jackets out, and then down to business for the next step. And that next step is in about half an hour at MSG.
You know, Huss, I think part of the reason the Jets are overlooked, and I was talking to a buddy about this last night who doesn't, even though he lives in Edmonton, he doesn't follow the NHL as closely as he does some other sports. I honestly think the Jets don't get the attention or didn't get the, the hype they deserve before the season is because their last 2 playoff runs ended quickly and, in my view, somewhat quietly. And you know what it's like. Okay, so last year the Oilers were 9th overall, the Jets were 4th. But nobody remembers that because in most people's mind, the Oilers were 2nd, right? So I think that works against the Jets, not fairly, but I think that's why people, though my colleague did pick them to win the Cup, but that's my theory as to why people didn't rank them as highly as they deserved before the season.
Yeah, listen, for sure. And listen, that's not just around everywhere else. It's here too. I mean, listen, there's you get a bit of scar tissue when you have, strong seasons and then bow out. Now, listen, the Vegas 2 years ago, Vegas was a top team. And if I recall correctly, the Jets were a wild card and went over there and they had played maybe their best game of the season. Pierre-Luc Dubois showed up, like the guy that we all remembered that they thought they were getting when they traded him for Laine. And we looked and we go, holy smokes, what could happen? And then Vegas woke up and they were a better team and they took it to them. Last year was a little different. I mean, they had a very strong regular season. And if you remember, they finished off the year winning 8 in a row. And in game 81, they went into Colorado in a game that was going to probably determine home ice, who had home ice in the series. And they beat them 7-0. And I think that really inflated the kind of hopes or maybe expectations of everyone. I mean, listen, they weren't playing the Capitals who got in and probably didn't deserve to. They were playing Nate McKinnon and Makar and a team with the Stanley Cup pedigree. But that series last year, I mean, the Jets won the first game 7-6, and it was a circus. Gorgiev was terrible, but they got to Hellebuck. But games 2 through 5 were a complete ass kicking. And I will say this, I think the Jets had their worst week of the season then. And listen, if you want to be a championship team and you want teams to talk about you like they did the Oilers last year, you need to be able to ramp your game up. And unfortunately for the Jets, I think they did so much of that at the end of the year. When they got punched in the mouth by Colorado, they didn't really have an answer to it. And I know there was a lot of talk about Hellebuck in the playoffs. I mean, they were scoring 5 or more every game. It wasn't really on him. Now, could he have made an extra save here or there? Sure. But they really, really got it taken to him. But, to their credit, they had to chew on that all summer. And they came back and, I mean, they didn't run from it. They sort of owned it. And they realized that Scott Arniel always talks about everyone being 10% better. And they've been that and more so far this year. And I think that, it often happens in sports, guys. I mean, you think about when Tampa won the President's Trophy, and then got bounced in 4 by the Columbus Blue Jackets. Well, what did they do after that? I mean, they didn't fold. They came back, they learned their lessons, and were even more prepared in the future. So, I mean, hopefully, certainly that is the case so far this season. Now, no one's really going to remember this come game 83, but it's been an amazing start. They are a really, really good hockey team. They're well built. They're very deep. They've got the best goalie in the game. And Winnipeg fans are justifiably really excited about what their hockey team has done so far and could be capable of moving forward.
Well, the fans there deserve it, quite frankly. So I hope all Winnipeggers, that's what they're called, right? Winnipeggers.
Winnipeggers
are enjoying this week, and obviously with the Grey Cup coming up on Sunday. Huss, you're an absolute joy to have on the program. Thank you so much for making time for us. Enjoy the Jets and the Rangers tonight. While we're going to be watching the Oilers take on the Islanders.
Hey, boys, thanks for having me on. Always a pleasure. And hey, for lock shoppers, I see a bunch of them in the chat right now. Even though we had to include Patty and Jake on the, with our For the Community parlay, Jets, Oilers, and Leafs tonight. Let's have everyone happy at the end of the night and us cashing a ticket at the end. Cool bet exclusives for that. And actually, I would see everyone in the lock shop tomorrow. But Iwanek's actually going to be filling in for me. We got to go on a little bit early on the show so we can get our flight to Vancouver for the Grey Cup. And hopefully your fearless leader can get off the mat, and maybe I'll see him there for a couple shows. But we will be there. I'll be doing Lock Shop from Vancouver on Thursday and Friday. Winnipeg Sports Talk as well on Thursday and Friday as well. So should be a fun one, and we'll see if the Bombers can make themselves a dynasty on Sunday afternoon. Guys, thanks for having me.
Right on. That is Hustler checking in for Winnipeg Sports Talk. Love having him on the show. And it is, I put on Twitter, what did I put? Winnipeg's the center of the Canadian sports universe right now. I mean, you got to give them their credit. You got to tell the fans, hey, enjoy it. What did I say? Winnipeg rules the world. Okay. but hey, you got your CFL team, as he says, in the 5th straight Grey Cup, favored to win their 3rd in the last 5 years. And you got the Winnipeg Jets with the best 15-game start in the history of the world. Quite frankly, you got to allow that city to be having a little bit of fun. All right. I think this is what I want to do, Jay. I'll give the keyword now, and then once we have that taken care of in the text line, then I'll give out the 3rd clue.
You got it, boss.
So you can focus on one thing at a time in the text line, as we are in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. JamesHBrown.com. Book your private consultation today. So the key word to text into 780-218-9999 is Steph, as in Steph Curry. Steph. This is all to be entered to win our Flyway to LA, presented by the 780, a homegrown local shop right here in Edmonton. 780, both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 100 local vendors from the 780 area code to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations: Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport. The winner of the trip is going to be announced on November 29th on the Nielsen Show. It's to go to L.A. December 26th to the 30th. You get your flight, you get a hotel, you get a rental car. You see the Clippers play Steph. You see the Rams take on the Cardinals, and you'll see an NHL game featuring Edmonton as well. So the keyword is Steph, 780-218-9999. We still got Jed Roberts coming up. Another clue for the mystery athlete of the game. It's Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Former Oilers general manager Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant. Holland was a NHL executive for 27 years, winning 4 cups in 22 years with the Red Wings before coming to Edmonton. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. There's 6 other games around the league, including the Rangers matching up with the Jets. Elsewhere, the Flames face the Canucks, while the Senators play the Maple Leafs, with Kenzie Lalonde getting set to become the first female to do play-by-play for a Canadian NHL game. And in the NFL, Dak Prescott will undergo surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring. He'll be out for at least 3 months, missing the remainder of the Cowboys' season. Prescott injured his hamstring in Dallas's game against the Falcons. Manuel Quickley of the Raptors has partially torn his UCL in his elbow and will be reevaluated next week, with the Raptors tipping off tonight against the Bucks. There's 8 total games having around the association, which sees Joel Embiid returning for the 76ers as well. This sports update has been brought to you by Wheeler's RV and Boat Storage, conveniently located 8 minutes west of St. Albert. Wheeler's RV is your safe and secure place to store your RV, boat, or whatever it is you want to store. Visit them at wheelersrvstorage.com to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get one free. Go to wheelersrvstorage.com today and get your storage needs taken care of. We return just after a quick break. I'm Zachary Kubusch with your sports update.
Conveniently located 10 minutes west of St. Albert, Wheeler's RV Storage will provide you with safe, secure storage for your RV, boat, or whatever you need to store. Open 7 days a week with gated keypad access and extra large stalls. Now is the time to take advantage of their limited time offer. Buy 6 months and get 1 month free. Now's the time to go to WheelersRVStorage.com. That's Wheeler's RV Storage. Safe, secure storage. Visit them today at WheelersRVStorage.com.
780 is just another lame-ass, low-budget local shop. Homegrown right here in Edmonton. 780 is both the shop name and their in-house clothing brand that celebrates all things unique to E-Town. They also work with close to 1,000 local vendors from the 780 to help promote and get their brands off the ground. Check them out online at 780.com or at any of their 5 locations at Southgate, Londonderry, Kingsway, St. Albert, and the Outlet Mall by the airport.
Fuge Sausages makes their meat with nothing but the best local ingredients. From chicken, beef, and pork, their gluten-free sausages are packed with flavor. Every single bite. Get a 10% discount when mentioning Edmonton Sports Talk in-store or use the code EST when shopping online at fugesausages.ca. Plus, you get free delivery on orders of $100 or more. Find them at 6736 99th Street. Fuge Sausages. You can't beat our meat.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Trade to tell you about in the National Hockey League. The Washington Capitals get Lars Eller from the Penguins. He used to play for the Capitals earlier in his career. Lars Eller from the Penguins. Washington gets the Penguins get a third-round pick in 2027. That's planning ahead, Jay. And a fifth-round pick in 2025. So Lars Eller going to the Washington Capitals. He's had quite a career, over 1,000 games, and kind of good sort of, I guess, usually third-line type guy throughout the course of his career. So Lars Eller going to the Washington Capitals. Oilers going for a second straight win over the Islanders tonight after they beat Vancouver on Saturday. We will get to our EST Flyaway qualifier in a second here, and we are going to crunch the numbers for Gallo LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP if you would like to further discuss how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow. Visit their website, GalloLLP.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow.
Well, Reid.
Yes, Jay.
I want to talk about the numbers here from the CFL East and West Division Finals.
Okay.
That were the highest I could find. They were the highest in the last 7 years.
TV ratings?
TV ratings.
Okay.
Yes. So for Saturday, the Toronto at Montreal and Saskatchewan at Winnipeg combined for an average of 1.14 million viewers.
Okay.
The second closest to that was in 2017, where it was 1.371 million viewers.
Okay.
Now, I also looked into how do these ratings, how do you know that I'm watching it on my TV? And you know what? It's just too much for me. This is also coming from a guy that did not know that Long Island was an island, so read into it as much as you want. But to give you context, okay? The premier game of the week for hockey. What game is that?
One of the Saturday night games.
Yeah.
Probably the 5 o'clock
The 5
game.
o'clock hockey night in
7
Canada.
p.m.
game.
Eastern, yes.
7 p.m. Eastern. That was 1.495. So those games combined for a very similar rating to that.
Okay.
Which is good.
Right.
That's good for the CFL.
Yeah, very.
And
there was overlap. They were competing against the first NHL game that day, yeah.
Yeah, so when you're looking at the numbers from 2017 all the way up to 2024, they are trending up, which as a CFL fan, I'm very, very happy to see.
Mm-hmm.
And they actually kicked the butt of the 10 p.m. game, which was 1.076.
And that was the Oilers and Canucks.
Yeah.
So that had 1 million people.
Now, here's the interesting one.
Okay.
If you look at the RDS numbers, just for Toronto at Montreal, the RDS views were 34.4% of the total number of views. So that means people are watching the French language broadcast, 34% of them.
Okay.
Of the total views.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay. Last year, when it was Montreal at Toronto, it was 50% of the viewership of the Eastern Final was RDS views.
Okay.
So, is Quebec City the only option for the next? Not the only option.
Oh, wow. That's where you're going.
Is Quebec City the number one target for the CFL in terms of adding the elusive 10th team?
Yeah, I think it has to be. I can't remember what the stadium situation is there. I mean, let's face it, there aren't a lot of realistic options. Okay? Like, Timmins, Ontario is not getting a team. Atlantic Canada is right now out of the mix, I would think. I mean, certainly Halifax would still be an option. I mean, I know every once in a while somebody says, well, could you put a team somewhere in the Okanagan? You know, like build a stadium or Kelowna and you attract that whole region. I don't know if that's realistic. I don't think Victoria is large enough or has the stadium. I think it would have to be Quebec City. I think they've got the population. They have the interest in football, and you have a natural rivalry with the Alouettes. Now, I don't know if we're ever going to get there. I mean, Randy Ambrosie staked a lot of his mission as commissioner on getting a 10th team in the Maritimes. And we've had the games in the Maritimes, and it never happened, and he's now the outgoing commissioner. And that was a big, big thing for him. He didn't make it work. I just don't feel like it's imminent that we're going to get a 10th team in the CFL, though I would like to see one.
So the Big O is in Montreal, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Because they've got
You want to move it to Quebec?
brick by brick.
Well, it might be cheaper than what it was to build it in Montreal.
Well, that is the big question. Is where's this going to happen? You know, where would these games be played? I'm just looking here. Like they have this. It looks like an outdoor stadium or concert venue called the Agora.
Okay, I don't know.
Well,
they'd have to build a stadium.
They'd have to build a stadium. I mean, they'd have to build a stadium wherever they're going, even if they go out to
that's the thing.
Halifax.
There's not a vacant pro football worthy stadium.
St. Mary's, they could add on to that, couldn't they?
Oh, could they? Okay.
And share that stadium?
Well, maybe.
So I don't know. I was just shocked to see that there's a large, you know, even though Montreal was playing in the game, 35% this year were the French broadcast for the game.
And the total ratings probably would have been better if Saskatchewan had been closer in that game.
100%.
That probably hurt them.
The game was over at halftime.
All right, we got, is it Stefan on the line as our qualifier?
It's Steven.
Steven, I'm sorry. Steven, my apologies. Steven knew that the key word was Steph. How are you doing, Steven?
I am well. How are you guys?
Doing very well. Congratulations on qualifying for the EST Flyaway to LA presented by the 780. Have you ever been to Los Angeles before?
Yeah.
What'd you do?
Disneyland.
Man, this Disneyland.
Everybody goes to Disneyland.
I got to get me some stock in Disneyland. Everybody that seems to go to LA
You have to look
goes
into this place.
Disneyland. We're going to have to check this place out. Hey, the off-topic topic today, Steven, was what's your favorite backup/journeyman player of all time? Now, it doesn't have to be NHL specific, but do you have anybody on the top of your mind?
Ooh. Let's go with Pokey Reddick.
Whoa, that is a good one. That is a good one. Yes, was an Edmonton Oiler, and I covered his brother, Smokey Reddick, when he came to Lloydminster. I want to say with the Grunthal Red Wings. Might have been the Grunthal Red Wings in the Allen Cup playdowns. Okay, Stephen, thanks a lot for listening. Congratulations on qualifying. We're going to give the trip away on the Nielsen Show on November 29th, so please listen during that time. Thanks a lot for tuning in this afternoon.
Awesome. Thanks a lot, guys. Keep it up.
Right on. Thank you. Yeah, we're going to have to look into this Disneyland place. I've never heard of it before all these people started qualifying.
I can't believe it.
What do they do there?
Like, what goes on there?
Yeah. Sounds like, is it Dizzyland? Is that what they're saying? Must be the rides make people dizzy.
It's
called Dizzy. Yeah, I think we're mishearing it.
It sounds cult-like, Reid. The amount of people, they go to L.A. How many people that go to L.A., the first thing they say when it comes out of their mouth is, oh, I went for Disneyland.
Yeah.
What's going on at Disneyland that we don't know about? Maybe we should do an EST exclusive, and you and I fly down to
I
LA.
think that's the only solution.
So when you land in LA,
we do like a month of shows in LA.
You get off the plane in LA, and you must be in Disneyland.
You go immediately to Disneyland.
Okay,
Yeah.
well that makes sense because everybody goes there.
Give us a thumbs up if you're taking in the show on YouTube. Of course, you can also stream it on EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on the iHeartRadio app, or on the TuneIn app as well. But yeah, hit the thumbs up button if you're with us on YouTube because we want to get to 100 thumbs up every show. Speaking of cults in LA, I watched a movie on Friday night called Late Night with the Devil. As people know, I will dabble in the horror genre. I would say this is a must-watch.
What was the name of that again?
Late Night with the Devil. Yeah. It kept popping up on best horror movies of the year lists and all this kind of stuff. So I watched it on Friday. It's a bit of a slow burn, but I thought it was really well done. And there were a couple genuinely creepy parts to it that kind of stuck with me through the weekend where it's like, oh, yeah, that was actually creepy now that I think about it. Late Night with the Devil. That'll be the Wilkie random movie recommend for the day.
So it's based in 1977, but when did it come out?
This year.
Oh.
Yeah. It might have had a festival release in 2023, but it got a wide release in 2024. Late Night with the Devil.
A live television broadcast in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living room.
Yeah, that's the catch. It's not just a broadcast goes horribly wrong. I mean, that happens on Edmonton Sports Talk every day from 3 to 6. It's that it unleashes evil.
Wow, it shocked the nation.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't think you would like it personally. I will not recommend it for the Milne family.
No?
No, I don't think you would like it. I think you'd be like, this is stupid. You got to buy into the premise a bit.
Is the devil in the audience? Is that what's going on?
I can't say. I don't want to spoil it for the people who are going to watch it.
Huh.
780-218-9999. The devil is in the details for our Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. We do this every Oilers game day. The third clue is Maple Leafs. So the clues in order: Lakers, Cover Boy, Maple Leafs. I think somebody's going to get it now before we give the fourth clue. I could be wrong. 780-218-9999. Maximum of 3 guesses, right? Jay's monitoring to that. But it sounds like the guesses have been pretty quiet today. I might have befuddled some people here.
The Wolf says, amazing movie, Reid. The Wolf mostly dabbles in the horror genre compared to the other ones, and I must say that was probably the best horror movie of the year to come out. Big Dave says, Late Night with the Devil was easily my favorite movie this year.
Oh, favorite movie? Wow.
Wow.
Awesome. Yeah.
And Abutski says, my favorite journeyman player is current Cleveland Guardians backup catcher Austin Hedges.
Oh, awesome.
Can't hit a lick, but an absolute beauty. Eric Sabrowski would attest.
That's so cool. Thanks for that.
TELUS Stadium holds almost 13,000 in Quebec City at Laval. 30-year-old stadium.
So they got to double it at least, probably.
See, I don't understand this because Laval is right outside of Montreal. To me, it's
I thought
nowhere.
Laval was closer to Quebec City. My bad.
Unless there's two Lavals in
No, I
in
probably
Quebec.
got mixed up.
Like Quebec City is further north up the St. Lawrence.
Yes.
Like by how far would that be? 4 hours? 3 hours?
I don't even know. I've been to Montreal. I've not been to Quebec City. I've heard it's quite beautiful.
I'd like to go to Montreal.
We should do our shows in LA, in Quebec City, and in Montreal, and then we'll award a CFL franchise to one of them.
Yeah, and then we'll go to Disneyland.
The big uke emailing Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com with a limerick. I'm going to have a limerick before the end of the show.
Oh.
We got a winner?
Yep.
Okay.
Let's go to
we'll get to it after the break. So I'll read because Jed's now at 5:20.
Yeah.
So I'll read this limerick. We'll do a break. We'll say who won, and we'll play the audio clue that we didn't use, okay? Because that's really going to get some laughs.
Yeah.
Here's the limerick from the Big Uke. Tonight, the enemy is the team from an island. Connor needs 5 to get to 1,000. Canucks scored thrice. Oilers scored way more than twice. Sporting in Manitoba has been quite grand. Pretty good. The Big Uke. Red hot magma.
Had a
with his
couple more limericks come in on the
wow,
EST
this is like the
inbox.
most we've had today. This is incredible. Okay.
Had a couple more limericks come in on the inbox.
Okay, let's look because we're getting late for him to do his
Okay,
sports. So we'll do the winner, the audio clue, more limericks, Jed Roberts, and who knows what else. It's the Reid Wilkins Show on Edmonton Sports Talk.
Get all the latest news and takes on everything Oilers with Dustin Nielsen and Tom Gazzola on the Oil Stream. Live at noon, Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
UFC lives at the Canadian Brew House with the most TVs, great food and drinks, and the perfect party atmosphere. There's no better way to experience UFC 309 on November 16th.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at GCLDiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
This is your chance to win big with the Split the Pot Lottery. Support the Capital Care Foundation to help Alberta seniors get the care they deserve and support more healthcare foundations across the province. With the grand prize that grows with every ticket sold, the jackpot is hundreds of thousands and just keeps getting bigger. Visit splitthepot.ca and buy your tickets now. Don't forget to pick Capital Care Foundation as your foundation of choice. Lottery license number 698984.
Former Oilers GM Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant. Holland was an NHL executive for 27 years, winning the Cup 4 times with the Detroit Red Wings. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on Edmonton Sports Talk. And heading back to the Capitals, Lars Eller gets traded from the Penguins for a 2027 third-round pick and a 2025 fifth-rounder. Eller scored the Stanley Cup winning goal for the Capitals back in 2018. And just getting underway, it's the Senators battling the Maple Leafs while the Rangers play the Jets. And in the NFL, Dak Prescott will undergo surgery tomorrow to repair his partially torn hamstring and will be out for the remainder of the Cowboys this season. And Emmanuel Quickly of the Raptors has partially torn his UCL in his elbow and will be re-evaluated next week, with the Raptors tipping off tonight against the Bucks. There's 8 total games in the association, which sees Joel Embiid returning for the 76ers. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne continues right now. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your Sports Update.
Winner lobster dinner. We'll get to the winner of the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game $25 gift certificate in about 47 seconds. Portions of this hour on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. Book your holiday party at the CBH today, your ultimate destination for events, parties, fundraisers, and more. 'Tis the season to celebrate. Visit and book now at thecanadianbrewhouse.com. All right, do you want to do limericks or do you want to do the winner first?
Let's do some limericks.
Okay.
We had 2 come in, actually, from the listener from the EST inbox. Here's a limerick for you. This one from Big Slam Nasty. Isles tonight, and we can't be fussy. 97 and 29 need to be trusty. We need to string together some wins to wash away the early season sins. Has anyone heard from Dusty?
Oh, jeez. Okay.
And this one comes in from Dash. The Oilers will skate with great flair. With McDavid, they'll race through the air. The Islanders will fight, but Edmonton's might will leave them with nothing but despair. Well done. Well done.
Pretty good.
And a couple more of the underdog story or from the...
William Huff, off-topic, your favorite or some backup or journeyman player that you've always adored.
Andrea from Calgary says, Kevin Glenn is my journeyman player, partly because he also owned a Tim Hortons in Detroit at some point.
Oh, that's amazing.
Tube Sock says, I always loved Harold Snepsts.
Harold Snepsts.
Growing up. As a kid, Snepsts seemed like the brawniest of brawny dudes there was. With that mustache, he's what a 10-year-old kid aspired to be when he became a man. That's Harold
awesome
Snepsts.
Stuff. That is awesome stuff.
One thing I got to just mention here is, for those of you that are listening, those of you that enjoy a libation or two, please note that as of November 14th, which if I'm not mistaken, that is this Thursday, Alley Cat Brewing is going to be dropping the price of the 6 o'clocker lager, the 4-pack, to $12.99.
That's an incredible deal for an excellent beer.
And that is from November 14th through Christmas. So this is a holiday special from our friends over at Alley Cat. The 6 o'clocker lagers are going to be on sale price for the rest of the year. That's a fantastic
For the rest
value.
of 2024.
Yes.
That is outstanding.
That is outstanding is right.
Do you have your Christmas lights up, by the way?
I do. I just put them up yesterday. I didn't turn them on. Don't want to be that guy.
Well, when do you turn them on?
When I get home tonight.
That'll be the first night they're on?
I want to test them.
Yeah, you didn't want to have them on Remembrance Day, I guess.
No.
Yeah. Somebody in my neighborhood has had lights since November 1st.
Yeah, there are those people.
Yeah.
Which, I just find it, I just go with the kind of what the general consensus is. And I believe the general consensus is to wait till after Remembrance Day.
Yeah. I usually go with November 25th.
November 25th.
Month ahead of time.
Yeah, that's fair. Now, part of the reason is because I want to get them up while it's still mild temperatures.
Well, yes.
So that I can go and replace bulbs if some are burnt out. And at the end of our driveway, we have this massive tree. I'll send you a picture of it tonight. It's probably 90 feet tall. It's a huge spruce tree right at the end of our driveway. You were there.
Yep.
And it's lit up. It's strung with lights. So I also have to replace a couple strings in that setup. So I'm going to have to, figure out something with our skid steer, maybe put
Going to be on a lift?
No, we'll do it.
You get Coop the Corgi to help?
Cooper the Corgi might help.
He can vault you up there.
He'll just
jump off my back, Jay.
If only he could speak, he could climb that.
Or he could launch off your back. Dogs are good
there's
jumpers.
Talks about our skid steer with the bucket and the ladder, and putting the ladder in the bucket and getting higher. We'll wear a harness. It'll be okay.
In the nasty chat, that's pretty good. Les Sweet says, my LA story is I once tried to order a coffee from a coffee bar, which I was scolded for and told it was a movie prop. That is a good LA story. Bronco Nick says Quebec City during Carnival is a must, I hear. Pretty good. If you're in the Nasty Chat, if you're watching on YouTube, please give us a thumbs up because we'd like to get to at least 100 every show, and we've been fairly successful in doing so as we camp out here in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law. With over 200 years of experience, James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Visit them at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. All right, the mystery athlete of the game for Hudson's Canada's Pub. Who is the winner?
Rob from the Grove.
Rob from the Grove. Excellent stuff. The clues were, we only needed 3 today. Lakers, Coverboy, Maple Leafs. If I was going to give a 4th clue, it would have been 995. And the 5th clue, Zach, can we play that special audio file? The one that's only 5 or 6 seconds long? If we would have needed it, that would have been the 5th clue. One more time. Maybe I shouldn't say, put it in the Nasty Chatter, who is this?
Yes.
Who's the mystery athlete of the game?
Yes.
So the clues, Lakers, Coverboy, Maple Leafs, 995, and then that piece of audio. No, just keep playing it, Zach. Play it at least 2 more times.
Oh, just hammer it.
I heard Hernan having a laugh over there. One more for good measure. Because the name's starting to come in the Nasty Chat. Because this player was known for having a very unique, distinct, well, I guess unique and distinct mean the same thing. So this person played during the NHL lockout in 12-13, played in Switzerland for a team called the Lakers. He was on the cover of NHL 2K8, the video game, hence Coverboy. He finished his NHL career with the Maple Leafs. Like Connor McDavid, he has 995 NHL points, but he's retired, so he's not going to add to it like McDavid hopefully does tonight. And then he has that laugh. Who was it?
Jason Spezza.
Jason Spezza it is. And he ties into somebody else we were talking about earlier today. We brought up Alexei Yashin, and he was...
Oh, my gosh,
in that
yeah.
I think he was the draft pick turned into him or something during that trade. And we brought up Yashin. I don't even know how we weren't planning on talking about Yashin, but we did. So there we have it. Jason Spetz is the mystery athlete of the game for Hudson's Canada's Pups. Congratulations to Rob from the Grove.
Hey, Jay, if you do use the ladder and skid steer combo, please video it for us.
Oh, my
Norman
goodness.
at Combine says, wear a harness and hook to what? A sky ring? Mm-hmm.
Well, what would can you harness
skid
yourself
steer
to
and
something?
ladder sounds OSHA approved. Ha.
Okay, I'm as you know, I'm not the brightest man in the world. What is a skid steer?
You'd know it as a Bobcat.
Oh, okay.
But they're called skid steers. Bobcat is a brand.
The brand. It's like Kleenex and facial tissue.
That's right.
Or
That's
nose,
like a
nose
skidoo.
wipe.
They're not all skidoos. They're
Right.
sleds.
Yeah, they're or snowmobiles.
Snowmobiles.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So you're gonna you're gonna stand in the scoop part of the skid steer
In the bucket.
In the bucket. How high up do you need to go?
Probably like 20, 25 feet.
Does it go up that high?
No, but with the ladder in the bucket.
Oh, wait a minute. This does not sound.
Yeah.
Well, Cooper the Corgi better be wearing his hard hat.
Yeah. I don't. I might have to find a bucket truck, but we might have to try this. So you put the ladder in the bucket and you send it all the way up and you keep it flexed so that it's level.
And then how do you climb up there? Or do you go?
I'm in the bucket with the ladder as it goes up.
And then you climb the ladder.
And then I set the ladder, lean it against a tree, scurry up, unplug, plug, throw the string
so
of
all
lights.
you have to do is a plug when you're up there.
Well, I have to unplug the string of lights, and they're all taped together too for trying to keep water out.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna have to throw the lights down the string, and then take everything down, move the skid steer around, and hopefully find a spot we can do it.
Okay. This is much more complicated than my lights. I have a couple string of lights. I put Yoda dressed as Santa Claus around my door.
Nice.
And then on my balcony, I string some lights, and we're done.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll do that this weekend.
Get it up now while it's still balmy. You know, that nothing worse than having to force to be put them up When you have company coming over and you want to look like Christmas and it's minus 40 out with the wind chill.
Yeah, I probably just wouldn't do it if it was that cold. All of just
Commonly misused term.
What?
Wind chill. I grew up my whole life thinking it was windshield.
No, it's wind chill.
Wind chill. I know.
I don't know. I don't think that's commonly misused.
I think a lot of people still
thought it was windshield.
Zach too.
Wait a minute. Hang on a second. Wind chill. How do you mistake wind chill for windshield?
I don't know. I thought it was a term when I was a young lad.
Well, it is.
That's how
windshield.
cold the windshield is.
Yeah, it's like this is the windshield level because it's like blowing at your windshield. As if you're a car driving.
You guys are giving me a hard time here.
No, when I was a little guy, I didn't know what a wind chill was. I thought it was a windshield.
And the way that people said it, they would say it really fast. Windshield.
Yeah. And it sounds like windshield. I understand what a wind chill is now, but I'm saying
how
as
old
a
were you
7,
when you
8-year-old guy, I thought
if you were 7 or 8,
this was
by the time you were a teenager, you should have known what it was.
I did.
Okay.
But I thought maybe this has to do with some sort of rating as if you're driving a car and the wind is blowing at your windshield.
Oh, okay.
To, mimic what a wind chill is.
Okay, as long as you were really... this wasn't 2 years ago you figured it out.
It may have been, Reid. It may be.
Oh, my goodness. When I used to think... this would have been probably preschool when Danny Gallivan was still doing... Because to me, Bob Cole was the voice, but when I was really young, Danny Gallivan was still doing games. And I used to think center ice was a player, like center ice, because the puck was always being shot out to center ice, and now it's moved ahead to center ice. and now it'll go to center ice. And I'm like, what?
Oh, that's funny.
This little Reid Wilkins is like, this guy plays the entire game, but I don't know which team he's on. What number is he? Like, what's going on? This center ice guy has the puck all the time.
Widow Reid Wilkins thought it was center ice.
Well, I think I asked my dad. I'm like, who is center ice?
I think
and
we should do
my dad's like, that's the space between the blue lines.
I think we should do a segment. This might have born a new segment. Widow Reid Wilkins.
Ignorant little Wilkie, as opposed to my current
But you got to say it like
Wilkie.
Widow Wilkie.
Widow Wilkie.
Yeah. And we'll tell stories about stupid things we did when we were children. Widow Jay and Wilkie.
Well, I just know about things I didn't know or thought were other things. But yeah, I thought
like a windshield.
I thought center ice was a person. Tom Gazzola's in the nasty chat, baby.
Uh-oh. Tony.
God, I love that guy. Yeah, first people call him Tony.
Vic says nobody confused wind chill and windshield. Well, Vic,
we got one.
Yeah, they did.
I've never heard that before. You thought they were saying, so it's minus 14, but it's minus 20 with the windshield. But did you actually think a car windshield was involved, or that was just the term for wind chill?
Yeah, it was more like a I didn't understand, or like it was mispronunciated. If you say it fast, wind chill, you could think that.
I guess if you say it really fast.
Yeah.
I wrote a limerick.
Okay, this should be good.
Well, I would have worked in the wind chill and windshield if I would have known. It's been said that no man is an island. In the summer, hockey players do dryland. Jay learns geography and some cartography. In points, McDavid will soon have $1,000. Thank God we have the Irish house band with the couple of music. Thanks, guys. No, it's close enough to 6. You can go. 780-218-9999 is how you text the EST inbox. And, of course, you can participate in the nasty chat on YouTube. Matt Hyman says, minus 25 with a windshield of minus 1,800.
There you go. This is really firing people up.
Well, whenever we bring up grammar things, too, or mispronounced things, that always gets stories, right? Hula Boy Steve, the one that bugs me is people who say antidote when they mean anecdote. Yes, that's a good point. Hey, here's a delightful antidote. Who's sick? Who has a disease?
Yeah, because antidote would be a remedy or like a medicine.
Yeah, an anecdote is a short, hopefully amusing story, right? Does it have to be amusing? Does an anecdote have to be amusing? Anyway, we always get very amusing anecdotes with our next guest, Jed Roberts, who's going to join us in a couple minutes. But first, we got the legendary Zachary Kubusch with a sports update.
The NHL has hired former Oilers GM Ken Holland as a hockey operations consultant, with the Oilers back in action tonight as they host the New York Islanders. Tune into the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas just an hour before puck drop, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. And Lars Eller is on the move as he gets traded to the Penguins from the Penguins to the Capitals for a 2027 third-round pick and a 2025 fifth-rounder. Right now, it's the Senators up 1-0 over the Maple Leafs, and the Jets leading the Rangers early in that one with the only goal in the game. Later, it's the Devils and Penguins before the Flames meet the Canucks. The Bruins see the Blues, and the Blue Jackets have puck drop against the Kraken. In baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has won his second Silver Slugger for first baseman in the American League. And baseball sees the Raptors going toe-to-toe with the Bucks, with Toronto's Emmanuel Quickley enduring a partial tear to his UCL in his left elbow. And he will be re-evaluated next week. After a few messages, former Edmonton Eskimo Jed Roberts joins the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Ready for an unforgettable sports experience? It's the EST Flyaway to LA. Presented by the 780. Listen daily for the EST Flyaway keyword. Once you hear it, text us at 780-218-9999 for your chance to qualify to fly to LA. Round trip flights for two, hotel and car rentals, all to go see Edmonton face off against either LA or Anaheim. Plus, experience the brand new Intuit Dome as the Clippers tip off against the Warriors, and top it all off with the Rams kicking off against the Cardinals at SoFi Stadium. This is more than just a trip. This is the ultimate sports experience. The EST Flyaway to LA, presented by the 780 and Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You want the heavy hitters on your team, both on and off the ice. If you've been injured in a car accident, call the heavy hitters of injury law. James H. Brown and Associates, Alberta injury lawyers. With over 200 years of combined injury law experience, their precedent-setting lawyers are ready to help. Locally owned and proud Edmonton Oilers fans, James H. Brown and Associates wants to support you with their unrivaled experience, unrivaled results, and unrivaled commitment. When accidents happen, head to jameshbrown.com.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
All right, thank you, Coop. Thanks for tuning in. Always love interacting with the Nasties, whether you've been with the guys here back to the 1260 days or if you've joined us more recently. Thanks for checking out the show. Tell your friends, tell your neighbors if you're enjoying anything. Oilers, Islanders tonight. We got the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Hernan and Tom coming up at 6. Give us a thumbs up if you are on YouTube. Call your grandma. Tell her to give a thumbs up. Call your long-lost relative in Romania. Tell them to give a thumbs up. I don't know why I picked Romania's. Tom Gazzola well, Tom might have left the nasty chat right now. He's such a sweet man.
A lot of antidotes in Romania.
A lot of people, yes. So an anecdote. Oh, I had the definition up. I have about 25 tabs open up on my computer today. And then I can't find anything I want. It's like, oh, have all this ready.
You're like my wife.
That I have so many.
It's like, what do you need all this open for?
Because I might need to pull up the Wikipedia page for the Rappers Will Yona Lakers. That was Spetz's team in Switzerland. I really don't need that page open anymore. All right. I have Connor McDavid's Hockey DB page open. That's important. Do we have Jed? Oh, we got Jed. Regular guest here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jed Milne, Double E alum, Jed Roberts checking in. Jed, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I was just having a good time listening to you.
Well, good. We want people to have a good time with their listening to us. All right, I'm going to ask you a question that we talked about earlier. I'm going to start with the hockey. McDavid's at 995 points. Would you sooner see him get to 1,000 in Edmonton tonight or Thursday, or the drama of doing it Saturday night in Toronto?
And do it here. Who cares about Toronto? I mean, I'm sure it might mean something to him being from Toronto, but yeah, man, like this is for us. We're here in Edmonton. Like we love this guy. He must be protected at all costs. So I'd love to see it happen over the next couple of games if it's possible here.
All right, I want to ask you one more hockey related, but also teammate related, and then I know Jay has a bunch for you. I don't know if you watched all the Oilers game against Vancouver, but they were winning. Bouchard took a penalty late. Vancouver scored on the power play, and the Oilers are so bad on the PK. And despite the win, Stuart Skinner was irritated. He kind of shook his head and glared at a teammate or two when the goal went in. He wasn't thrilled at the end of the game. We talked about how much of that was appropriate, how much wasn't. What are your thoughts on that of a player reacting that way in a game in which his team is victorious? And I think probably the fact that it was a power play goal against Jed might have factored in the frustration there.
Yeah, I think that, when you're talking about Bouchard, he has a little bit of a quirk to his playing style, which is like, he has this way of sort of being kind of nonchalant sometimes when he plays, and it's just maddening because the guy's so bloody talented, and but it's just, and so when you see a guy like Skinner who's the goalie and is looking at his D-man like, what are you doing, and I think there's nothing wrong with the veteran team, teammates holding each other accountable, and sometimes that mask slips a little bit, I haven't brought myself to watch the Amazon Prime documentary about the run that the Oilers made last year, but I had heard that Connor was yelling in the locker room, and you don't really get to see that very often, but it does happen, and that's pretty rare that the general public gets access to that sort of thing. So I personally don't have a problem with it. I think that when you've got guys that are playing at that high a level, they hold each other accountable, and then often the general public doesn't get the opportunity to do that, to see it. And so I think that's one of those few rare occasions where you're going to see a guy kind of glare at his teammate and be like, look, what are you doing? And he's not wrong. The fact that we saw it, I guess, is just a bonus for us.
Jed, first things first here. There's been a few listeners chime in, one of them being Vic, who's been a big fan of you for a long time. Happy belated birthday. I understand that happened over the weekend. Give us a little breakdown. What happens in the Roberts house? Do you get to pick the meal? How does that work there?
You know what? This year, absolutely nothing. Because I'll give you a little bit of backstory on that. Last January, I went back to school for I think it was just about 7 months, and it was just something I kind of wanted to do just for myself. I went back to school at Northwest College, and I did some work-related studying and went to school full-time for about 7 months, and then I worked full-time. And then right when I finished that, I segued right into football there in the fall. And so I haven't really had a break since, it's been a long summer. It's been a long year, and we're into a month 11 here, and this was actually the first weekend where I didn't have to do anything. And so for my birthday this year, I just did absolutely nothing, and it was wonderful. I caught up on Stranger Things. I did some watching TV, and I could have picked my meal if I wanted to, but I just said, you know what, I'm happy with whatever you make. I just want to be able to do nothing, and that's what I did. So that was my birthday gift to myself, was to do nothing.
I like that, the beauty of not having anything scheduled. That's I like that. Good for you, man. And I think I texted you, but happy birthday for sure. All right.
Well, I got to bring up, maybe something you don't want to talk about, and that's your beloved Denver Broncos falling to the unbeaten Chiefs on a last-second field goal. What do you think about that play at the end of the game, Jed?
I think it's a great play by the Chiefs. I was watching the replay of that, actually, oddly enough, that you're talking about that right now. The guy that lined up over the Broncos left guard went right into the knees of the guard which caused him to step down, and then it created the whole thing sort of like, it just sort of broke down from there. And the Chiefs did a great job. That's why they're the reigning Super Bowl champs, and that's why they're kind of on the inside track there to go back and do it again. The fact that the Broncos were able to go in there and play in a hostile environment, and it went down to the last minute, that's a building opportunity for them. I think Bo Nix is going to be a really good quarterback in this league for a really long time. And it's been a long time since I've been able to say that about the Broncos. So I'll take what I can get. That was a great play by the Chiefs. You just can't, you got to take your hats off to them they saw something and they took advantage of it.
Well, and a lot of people may not know the detail that is involved, even with a field goal block setup, as opposed to just a regular field goal hold or field goal return. Give a little glimpse, Jed, into just how different each different call is for those that may not, obviously have had the tenure as a special teams advisor and dominator on the field like you did. But give us a little insight into that.
Well, when you're talking about the minutia involved with like field goal, the blocking up front, everybody's got to step behind the guy next to them, right to their left, and that's their anchor step. And so what happened with the Chiefs is that they saw something in that left guard where he wasn't anchoring down, and he could exploit it. And so that's what great coordinators do, is they see something and they take advantage of it. And so what happened was the left guard, it took his anchor step, but then he leaned back in toward the inside, and it created an opening. And so the guy next to him, and then the guy next to that guy, and then that guy next to that guy, the pressure was put on them. And you just got to do nothing but shake your head and show respect in a moment like that the Chiefs were able to exploit that. And you never know if that opportunity will even come up. But, in that moment, the Chiefs knew what to do, and it paid off for them. So I don't know, man. It's a game of inches, and that's exactly what happened.
Jed Roberts joining us, 5:30 here. We're in the James H. Brown studio. James H. Brown Personal Injury Law Firm, the heavy hitters of injury law with over 200 years of experience. James H. Brown will get you the settlement you deserve. Check him out at jameshbrown.com. Book your private consultation today. All right, the Grey Cup is set. Is this not what happened with the Double E in 93, Jed, that they got to face a backup quarterback on Winnipeg after Dunnigan got hurt? Is that not the situation the Bombers now face against Toronto? And is there any sort of concern that Bombers fans should have about overconfidence or taking Toronto? I don't think so, but I want to ask you that approach of knowing all week long you're not playing the other team's best guy.
Yeah, I think if I can recall correctly, when we knew that we weren't going to be playing Matt, we knew that, there was just no way we were going to lose the game, and I think that when you're playing for the Bombers now, and you know that you don't have to worry about going up against Kelly, and that Arbuckle, who, he's a pretty good backup, but he's not a starter. It's kind of a similar situation in that, when we knew we were playing Sammy Garza at 93 and not Matt Dunnigan, there's quite a bit of difference between those two guys and what they bring to the table. Having said that, Toronto's got some pretty good athletes on the defensive side of the ball. They've got Serezna. They've got a couple of guys, him and, they've each got 8 sacks or whatever, and they can give you some trouble on defense. But I just don't see the offense with that veteran offense, that the Bomber offensive line there. They've been playing together forever, and they run the ball so well. The league's leading rusher, and that's the guy that even missed the game, and he still led the league in rushing. And Kalaros is not a guy that's going to beat himself, and I just don't see. There's just no scenario in my mind where the Bombers lose to the Argonauts playing shorthanded like that. The Argonauts have a good defense and they can keep them in it, but the Bombers are just so good all the way across the board. There's just not a lot of weaknesses on that team. Think back to when they played the Edmonton Football Club there a few weeks ago. They totally shut down Edmonton's running game, and basically rendered them completely impotent. And that's what that defense can do. You got Willie Jefferson, you got so many good options on defense, and there's just no weaknesses on that team. They're so good across the board. They're coached, probably the best coaching staff in the league. Those guys have been playing for a long time, and I use the dynasty word when I talk about that team. If they win this game, that's 5 Grey Cups and 3 wins and 2 losses. That's a dynasty. So we may never see this again in our lifetime.
Well, yeah, we were using that D word with Huss in the last hour for sure. So this week as a player, and look, Jed, I've interviewed enough players past and present to know that they generally like their routines. And Grey Cup week is all about being out of your routine, right? Both teams are on the road. They're in the other city way before the day of the game. The game starts at kind of an unusual time, in terms of when it's going to start on Sunday. What advice would you give these players to enjoy the week, but also find a routine to be ready for the Grey Cup?
Well, that's really a loaded question because if you're talking to a Bombers, like those guys have been there. They've done it, right? Like it's basically they have a routine because they've been there so many times. I mean, if you're the Argos, they've had some success, but, it's a bit different. I think every team approaches it differently. I can remember when the Montreal Alouettes came here in 2002 and we were playing at home. And those guys all basically shut it down after the first night. They didn't do anything. I had friends on the Alouettes team and, they didn't even leave the hotel. Like they never even went out and did anything, and it paid off for them. So, I mean, each team approaches it differently. I think that the Bombers will probably, they'll enjoy it. I knew I always used to head out maybe a night or two, the first night or two, and then I'd shut it down. And, it's a business trip just like any other trip. But the Grey Cup, man, there's nothing else like it in Canada. You get people from all across the country and, it's basically kind of like a rave for older people. It's like that peace, love, unity, respect thing for people in their 50s and 60s. You get people that come every year and it's just such a nice vibe. Everybody is getting along. There's no, and there's no hostility. It's all in good fun. And, it's just like, it's the great Canadian party, every year. And so I always encourage players to go out and experience it as much as they can. But, everybody's got their own way of doing it. I know in '96 we had a few guys that took advantage of it a little bit too much. And they, a couple of them got had some issues with maybe overdoing it. And that may have cost us the game. So, I mean, I always say, everything in moderation, and you've got the rest of the year to have a good time. If you win the game, then you can have as much fun as you want. But I suspect that Winnipeg's got a veteran mindset and approach to it, whereas, Toronto might be a little bit more, hey, this may never happen again. So I suspect that the Bombers will take care of business. I'm predicting a pretty easy win for the Bombers this year.
Jed, I wanted to ask you just one more thing about, local athlete and rising NFL star Chuba Hubbard. Signed a 4-year, $33.2 million contract. Good on the young man. I know you've met him at least once. But as a young guy, put yourself in your son's shoes and think about, what does that mean for the future of Canadian, especially local Edmonton or Alberta, football players aspiring to make it to the next level? Just how big is that deal?
Well, Chuba, I mean, his story is amazing, and I actually was the one that got him his first offer from, I think it was Wyoming. My friend that I played football with in college was their defensive coordinator, and he was their recruiting coordinator.
Oh, wow.
And I told him, no, it's Colorado State. Sorry, it's Colorado State. He was at Colorado State. So I called Marty English and I said, you need to get your eyes on this kid. He's got the speed that you won't see in anybody else. And so he, sure enough, he offered him his first verbal offer and, offered a sign. And then after that, the floodgates opened. Every team was lining up waiting for the opportunity. I remember I talked to Darian Hagan, who was the top recruiting guy over at Colorado. He actually flew in to talk to Chuba. And, when a guy like that, like a local kid, is able to, take his talents to the international stage. I mean, they just played over in the UK there, and he had 150 yards in front of, a European audience, a worldwide audience. And, this was his contract year where he was basically playing for his NFL life. If he doesn't make it this year, then maybe they release him and he may not get vetted for his pension. But now in his 4th year, he's set for life, and he's a guy that gives back. He comes back and he holds local camps. And my sons have been fortunate enough to attend that. And he's very down to earth young man. And his mom and dad have done a wonderful job of raising him to, treat the game the way it should be treated, and he's a remarkable young guy. So for us here in Edmonton and Sherwood Park, he's just a remarkable young guy.
Yeah, well said, Jed. I was really happy he had that huge game just a couple days after getting that big contract for sure. All right, Jed, you have offered the first official prediction on the Reid Wilkins show. You said Winnipeg by a lot of points. Can I get a score? Because I tweet out all the predictions at the end of the week.
Winnipeg 38, Toronto 14.
Okay. Awesome. Hey, thanks for checking in. Hopefully we can get you in studio again soon. That was such a blast when you were here a couple of weeks ago. Take care, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it. See you soon.
Jed Roberts joining us, Double E alum. All-around good guy, well-spoken guy, big supporter of Edmonton sports and athletes. So he's taken we'll do our whole full round of predictions on Friday, and we'll get all our colleagues at EST to chime in as well. But he's taken Winnipeg 38 feet. Jed is not giving the Argos a chance, by the way not just the score he predicted, but the way he worded his response. I think they have a chance, but I think Winnipeg... I would have been picking Winnipeg even with Chad Kelly healthy, quite frankly, because everybody knows what I think of... Well, I think everybody knows what I think about Collaros, because I remember even in 14 and 15 when he was with Hamilton, I was always like, watch this Collaros guy. He's going to be good. And then he kept getting hurt every time I said he was going to do something great, but he's become a legendary CFL player. I'm glad you brought up Chuba. I think that one was in Germany, actually, but...
it was in Germany.
Did you see the ref announce a penalty in German?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, the referee announced a false start in German. That was pretty cool. It was Hockey, the
son.
Son Hockey. Yeah,
they look the same.
How would you like to be the second most famous NFL referee in your family?
Both with huge arms.
Yeah.
They don't miss arm day in that family.
No, they definitely do not. But anyway, yeah, Chuba had an incredible game, and he got that contract. Tough go for the Panthers, obviously, the last couple of years, but hopefully they'll pick it up at some point. We'll see Chuba in a playoff game. We are so close to 100 thumbs up, and we got about 13, 14 minutes to get there. So if you're watching in the Nasty Chat, hit the thumbs up, please. We'd love to get to 100, just for our own, really personal selfishness and satisfaction.
Well, no, the deal was Dusty's supposed to bring in the candy.
If we ever see Dustin again.
If we ever see that man again. Now, I've been emailing him and texting him. So I know
he is. We all saw him on TV on Saturday.
He is alive.
But he's been going through a tough go here, trying to bounce back from a pretty tough illness here. Portions of this hour presented by the Canadian Brewhouse. UFC 309 coming up. UFC lives at the Canadian Brewhouse with the most TVs and big screens, great food and drinks, and the perfect party atmosphere. There's no better way to experience UFC 309 on Saturday. See you at the Brew. So the Friday thing is Paul Tyson, and I call it a thing because I don't want to call it a boxing match. But what's the big one? Just give us the two names. What's the big one at UFC 309, Coop? Do you know?
John Jones and Stipe Miocic for the heavyweight belt.
So that's okay. In boxing, the heavyweight belt was always the most, the belt with the belt with the clout. Is that also true in UFC, or does it depend on the athletes?
Yes and no. It depends on the athletes. Like for the past 5 or so years, it's been the lightweight belt that has had the most skill in that division as well. But this is John Jones. Many see him as the greatest UFC fighter of all time against the greatest heavyweight of all time. So this is the biggest fight probably since Conor McGregor and Khabib Nurmagomedov for the lightweight belt, like back in 2018.
Okay, top of your head, who would be the 3 greatest UFC fighters of all time?
Oh boy, I'm not going to list them yet, but Demetrius Johnson, George St. Pierre, and John Jones. In no particular order.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Quick reaction by the Coop. He's got to work. He's got to do a sports update.
Coops is on fire today.
And we got to 100. We love you, everybody. We love the Nasties. Go ahead, Coop.
Former Oilers general manager Ken Holland has been hired by the NHL as a hockey operations consultant, and Holland was an NHL executive for 27 years, winning 4 cups 22 years with the Red Wings before coming to Edmonton. And it's the Oilers taking on the Islanders tonight with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6 o'clock right here on EST. And heading back to the Capitals, Lars Eller gets traded from the Penguins for a 2027 third-round pick and a 2025 fifth-rounder. Eller scored the Stanley Cup winning goal for the Capitals back in 2018. And right now, it's the Jets and Rangers tied at 1 apiece with the Senators up 1-0 on the Maple Leafs nearing the end of the first period. In just a moment, it's the Devils and Panthers before the Bruins battle the Blues. Over in baseball, Vladimir Guerrero Jr. of the Blue Jays has been named Silver Slugger for first baseman in the American League. And 4 games are underway in the NBA with the Pistons leading 32-21 against the Heat. The Magic up by 9 in the second quarter against the Hornets. And the Celtics up by 3 against the Hawks entering that second. We also have the Knicks doubling up the 76ers 12-6 midway through the first. The Reid Wilkins Show with Jay Milne returns just after the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you in the loop.
Wake up with the Nielsen Show with Dustin Nielsen and Lieutenant Eric. Weekday mornings 6 to 9 on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Edmonton Sports Talk delivers a mass audience of key, influential customers to your business, all while you associate your company brand with the biggest names, the hottest sports news, and teams from every league around the globe. Oilers and Elks, NHL, NFL, Major League Baseball, and the Association, Formula One, soccer, golf, oh sweet mama! The excitement is palatable on Edmonton Sports Talk. It's where fans go to get their sports fix and where our partners find the most loyal consumers. Contact us today and see how our team on Edmonton Sports Talk can score the biggest goals for your business. With various advertising options available, email business@edmontonsportstalk.com or head to our website and send a message at edmontonsportstalk.com.
Oilers game coming up, less than an hour and a half now. See, Dean Belanger was here earlier complaining about the start times for NHL games. That 7 could mean 7:07, 7:12, 7:17, 7:22. I think it's just after 7 tonight at Rogers Place. We got coverage at 6 with the Oil Stream GCL Diesel pregame show with Hernan and Tom. Tom's going to be, I think, in his home studio, and then I'll see him at the rink. Hernan's here getting ready to rock and roll. Going to be a good one against the Islanders. Well, I hope. I guess I just say that to have something to say.
Well, I mean, let's talk about it here, Reid. They've got a lot of injuries.
Well, Barzal and is it Pelech or Pulock that's out? Pelech is out.
But they've got and Duclair, 20-year-old rookie Isaiah George, Dennis Cholowski, who's only played 124 NHL games, and Grant Hutton, who's only played 22 NHL games.
Who I've not heard of.
Those are 3 of their 6 starting D-men.
Right.
Oilers fans, you think you have a problem on defense? Well, it pales in comparison to this.
Well, yeah, hopefully the Oilers can get after them. I mean, Pulock's still pretty good. Dobson's kind of their Bouchard, I guess, though he only has 6 points.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be, so here's the thing. Bouchard only has 7. Bouchard's +4, oddly enough. Dobson doesn't have a goal, and he's -5. So he hasn't done much for them.
They're high on Isaiah George. Like, that was a draft pick, I think a 2021 draft pick. But this is his first year playing. He's a 20-year-old rookie.
Right. So seeing McDavid and Draisaitl come down on you for the first time could present problems. Now, they do have Sorokin in net, who's been one of the best goalies in the NHL over the last 3 years. He's got a .916 save percentage, though his one-loss record at 4-3-2 isn't great. But if the Oilers, here's what I liked about what the Oilers did against Vancouver. They finally got to the puck to the net and kept working around the goal.
Sure. Yeah, no question. And that's been something that has been plain and simple missing from this. And Coyote Steve makes a great point. I hope the Oilers don't think this will be a give-me game, or they may get surprised.
Well, quite frankly, Coyote Steve, that would be shameful if the Oilers think any game is a gimme in this league.
100%.
And let's face it, they're 7-7-1. They're not 13-2-1 or whatever. Yeah, they need to bank some points. They need to take every game pretty seriously. And they need to do what they did for most of the game against Vancouver, especially on the offensive end. I mean, they had Vancouver pinned in quite a lot in that game. They were busy around the net. Sure, they scored a couple of goals that Lankinen would probably want back, but they were getting repeated chances and opportunities. I mean, I love that Connor Brown goal where they were just hacking away and he got it from the side of the goal. Even Leon's goal that was just after a power play expired. I mean, that was keep the puck alive, find it, and then you got the skill to put it in. But they got the puck to those areas, so that was refreshing to finally see that. Yeah, I don't think the Oilers would take. I mean, the Islanders are 6-6-3. They're not 1-12.
Well, and let's not forget that Lankinen stunk on Saturday night. That was not.
And what was
good
his?
game.
And he had like some otherworldly save, like well over 920 going in, and so that's something that's probably going to even. I mean, there's a reason he's been a number 2 or even number 3 organizational goalie.
Yeah, that was a big.
So that's catching up with Vancouver, maybe.
That did not look like that goalie. Had that save percentage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, for sure. I mean, Skinner and I know Skinner 17 and saves on 20. Maybe doesn't look, but he made the saves that he needed to. He never really let Vancouver get that tide-turning goal.
Can I sneak in one more buying or selling that I didn't get to?
Yes.
For Damon Bunting Real Estate? Buying or selling that the Chiefs will go undefeated this year?
Selling. Too many games left.
Although they are your Super Bowl winning pick.
Yeah, they are. I don't even know their schedule. I'm just saying.
I've got it right here.
Well, this is a tough one this weekend. That's going to be a fun one.
That's the one. That's the one that could slip them up. I mean, anything can happen, okay? But if you're looking at
they
this,
play the Chargers still.
Who cares?
They play at Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh's doing very well.
Pittsburgh might be another one. Chargers are
That's
at home.
a Christmas Day game.
No shot. At Bills, at Panthers, away to the Raiders, away to the Chargers, at Browns. Or no, sorry.
That's home to the Chargers.
Home to the Raiders,
week 14.
home to the Chargers, at Browns, home to Houston, at Pittsburgh, at Denver.
I say they might lose to the Bills this weekend. And then Pittsburgh's good, man. They always talk about a figure-it-out organization. They're like that almost every year. Like
Pittsburgh
Russell
just
Wilson
beat
back in there.
My Washington Commanders, but my Washington Commanders should be ashamed of themselves for how many friggin' balls they dropped.
I say the Chiefs will lose 2 games, but still win the
Super Bowl.
I almost said the Grey Cup. Sorry, I say the Chiefs will win the World Championship.
Oh,
my God!
Hey, speaking of championships, Reid Wilkins boost.
Oh yeah, do we have the bull ride?
We'll see.
For Nick.
So Nick Tates was in here last week. He was the bull rider that was in the PBR, and
Come on, Hernan.
Hernan's here taking it all in. Hernan, how you doing?
Good. It's good to see you. You can come stand by me, buddy.
Come on in.
I love you.
Come on in. So,
yeah. Fire the bull ride.
He wound up the PBR Canadian National Finals and crowned the 2024 PBR Canada Championship. He rode 34 of 61 this year. That's 55.74%. That is very good. That doesn't happen often. He won over $153,000 inside Rogers Place.
Yeah. You got $100,000 for winning this.
Just the bonus for that. And he's won an unprecedented, in this year alone, $250,000.
$250,000 riding bulls. That's pretty cool.
That's a $250,000 cowboy
And,
right here.
Nick was in
Yeehaw!
Thursday. He was in studio.
Yes, he was.
All right. And did you have a photo you wanted to show as well of something?
Well, yeah, we were talking about putting ladders in skid steer buckets and going up high in the air with them to try and fix the Christmas lights. And our dear friend Norman the Combine sent in one of himself working on his, what's that, his auger on his combine. Yeah, sometimes that's just how you have to get it done, folks. You just got to get in the nitty-gritty.
So is he doing the same thing you might be doing tonight or close to it?
Yeah, see, mine would have another ladder on top of that. Actually, that's a good idea. I do have a set of forks. I might put the forks on so that we have a platform to put my ladder on.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Well, I wish you all the best with that.
I'm not doing it tonight. This is a
you're not doing
this is a daytime job.
Oh, yeah, I was wondering, why do it in the dark, especially when the Oilers are going to be playing?
No. I'll be watching the Oilers with you.
Well, spiritually.
Aren't we watching the game tonight?
I'm going to the rink. I'm leaving right away. That's why I'm already shutting down my laptop.
Yeah, fancy
and plus,
guy.
the guys want to get into goof ups. I probably made some. I didn't write anything down today, so which leads me to believe it was not egregious. I forgot whether it was Pulock or Pelech that was injured for the Islanders. It's Pelech. Pulock is playing because they have both.
Grumpy Cat says, do you know you can color code your internet tabs?
I did not know that.
I didn't know
Please-
that, and I wanted
Please
to
send me directions on how to do it.
Grumpy Cat says, I'm no farmer, but that looks like a grain trailer, and it is a grain cart. Norman the Combine says that was a grain cart. He's also saying Texans will take down the Chiefs.
Well, they're going to need more than a 16-point halftime lead because they couldn't hold it against the Bills. Or not the Bills, the Lions. Oh, there's a goof up. Wrong. I got my NFL teams mixed up. Do you have any goof ups? You're good. Coob's good. Coob's leaving. We got to get out of the way for Hernan and Tom. They have the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at the top of the hour. David Beard, U of A grad, and CFL All-Star and Hamilton Tiger Cats offensive lineman scheduled to join us in studio tomorrow. Of course, we'll break down the game between the Oilers and the Islanders, and who knows what other fun we shall have. On behalf of Zach Kubusch and Jay Milne, I'm Reid. Thanks.
Get to know the winners, props, plays, parlays, and more with Nielsen and Hustler. Weekday mornings at 11 on The Lock Shop. Only on EdmontonSportsTalk.com.